It's Friday, September 26th. Today, left lying in agony. The questions and concerns raised after a Winnipeg senior waited hours for an ambulance to arrive after breaking his hip. Back on strike, Canada Post workers hit the picket lines in response to new changes ordered by the federal government. And later, celebrating a major milestone, an Ontario woman looks back on her 107 years. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning, Manitoba. Happy Friday. We made it to the end of the week. We are here, and we have a lot going on this morning, including some details about Nuit Blanche, which is back this weekend. Daniel Homerson is going to give us a sneak peek on what we could expect when we check it out. I love Nuit Blanche. It's such a beautiful thing to do.
It's fun to see everyone out and about downtown.
Yes,
I will
walking.
say, yeah, in my older years, I'm not gracing the streets that late as much, but it's always a good excuse to be out and about and feeling young and vibrant.
And the best part about it is when you have nice weather, so you can really explore the Exchange, St. Boniface, all the different parts of the city. What's it going to be like tomorrow?
Pretty gorgeous, Rochelle. Mother Nature knows that Nuit Blanche is on the way clearly and wants to give us some lovely conditions. However, I feel sad about being so excited for our temperatures here in the south, because the north will be a bit of a different story. More on that in a moment. Right now, let's look outside. 8 degrees, a couple clouds to kick us off. Winds are light out of the southeast. They will be ramping up considerably. The pressure is falling and the humidity sits at 78%. So yes, we're starting off with clear skies here in southern Manitoba, excuse me, as evidenced. A little bit more in the way of cloud coverage, particularly in the northwest, and it's likely to be a bit of a cloudy day ahead for you. And we are tracking this low pressure system. We talked about it yesterday. It's starting to develop over northern Saskatchewan, and it's likely going to track into the northwest a little later on this afternoon and linger there overnight, bringing steady rainfall. Then it should fan out further to the northwest overnight as well. As you see, it gets much larger. Steady, strong rain, about 5 to 10 millimeters worth, is expected by about tomorrow. Well, we're sitting pretty here in those clear conditions. Maybe a touch of fog for us. Very, very strong southerly winds expected today, upwards of 40 to 50 kilometers per hour in the later afternoon. But we'll get some sunshine, maybe a mix of sun and cloud, and staying nice and clear into Saturday and Sunday as well, while the north deals with cloudy skies on the back half of that low pressure system. In terms of our temperatures, we are above seasonal once again and hotter than we were yesterday. 22 degrees. Apologies, this should actually be 21 degrees. I'll update that later. 21 degrees. 15 is what's typical for this time of year. And as you can see, we are nowhere close to that. We do have a slight chance of getting some showers overnight, a taste of that system. Only about a 30% shot. Likely, though, we're going to stay dry into tomorrow. Another scorcher, 23 degrees. And if you can believe it, 26 on Sunday.
Thank you, Catherine. More questions and concerns about the reliability of ambulance care in our city. This comes after a 93-year-old Winnipeg man fell and broke his hip on the front lawn of his home. Despite calls to 911, he was left lying on the ground for 6 hours before any help arrived. CTV's John Hendricks reports.
Emergency department. When you call for an ambulance in a medical emergency, you imagine help will be on the way quickly. But that isn't what happened when 93-year-old Alan Krause fell and broke his hip Wednesday. The family called 911 and was told there would be a 3-hour wait. That proved to be optimistic.
He was on his lawn for 6 hours. 6 long, devastating, painful hours before an ambulance attended.
Michael Wojciechowski says his father-in-law was in agony, but they were told not to move him or give him anything to eat or drink.
My wife was called to come to the scene where he was, and when she got there, she just saw her dad in pain, screaming in pain, and there was nothing she could do.
Raina Schmartin lives across the street and saw Krause lying on the ground with people around him not too long after he fell. She's shocked how long it took for an ambulance to arrive.
I think it's frightening. I think people in this city should be scared.
It's not acceptable. I can tell you
when you talk to the workers, they're horrified by hearing this. It's not something they're to be proud of.
The union representing paramedics says 6-hour waits should never happen. But Kyle Ross says right now, there just aren't enough workers to get to everyone quickly.
The service is stretched so thin, and there's not enough paramedics, and these incidents will unfortunately continue to happen if we don't find a way to get people to take up this profession.
Wojciechowski says something has to change, and sooner rather than later.
If City Hall doesn't take action, this is going to happen again. And next time it could be your father, one of your loved ones. And then you're going to go through this pain that our family is going through right now.
John Hendricks, CTV News, Winnipeg.
We are told Alan Krause is in hospital and the family is still waiting to find out exactly how he will be treated. A statement to CTV News Winnipeg from Winnipeg Fire Paramedic Services says, in part, it cannot speak to specific medical incidents, saying WFPS triages medical calls using the medical priority dispatch system. Once the call taker provides information, the call is classified and sorted for dispatch. It also says, quote, we have seen an increase in the number of calls we receive year over year. While we do our best to get help to residents who need us, sometimes some patients may wait longer than others. Security was on hand at the University of Manitoba campus Thursday afternoon as protesters tried to overwhelm a talk being given by a controversial speaker.
I don't think it should. Will you excuse me, officer?
Former Mount Royal University Policy Studies professor Francis Widdowson was there to have a discussion on claims the discovery of mass graves at a former Kamloops residential school was a hoax. During the talk, participants were encouraged to stand on mats that indicated whether they agree or disagree with the premise. Some in attendance found her presence objectionable, while others felt she should be given space to speak.
And then for someone to come along, saying Kamloops is a hoax. I'm from Fort Alexander. We have unmarked graves over there. And I'm not going to let someone say that this is all a hoax.
I just think we should be able to have speakers out of the campus, period. Doesn't matter what they're talking about. There needs to be speakers who are actually talking about something that people seem to be very afraid to talk about. And I think the things that we're most afraid of to talk about are things we need to talk about most.
Widdowson also plans to give a similar talk at the University of Winnipeg today. The University of Manitoba told CTV News the outdoor discussion was allowed to proceed, citing the university's commitment to freedom of expression. The number of people who are sick because of a salmonella outbreak linked to pistachios continues to rise. The Public Health Agency of Canada confirms 105 people have become sick since the outbreak started in early March, an increase of 26 cases since earlier this month. The agency has issued 26 recalls of pistachios and pistachio-containing products since July. 16 people have now been hospitalized because of the outbreak that has sickened people in New Brunswick as well as Quebec, Ontario, BC, Alberta, and one here in Manitoba. U.S. President Donald Trump is imposing more tariffs, taking aim at a broad range of imported goods. They include a 100% duty on imported branded drugs. Trump writing on social media that companies will face the tariff, quote, unless a company is building their pharmaceutical manufacturing plant in America. He also announced a 50% tariff on all kitchen cabinets, bathroom vanities, and associated products, and a 30% tariff on upholstered furniture. And that's not all. Trump is also slapping a 25% tariff on, quote, heavy big trucks made in other parts of the world. All of these tariffs are expected to take effect on October the 1st. It was anything but a typical morning for some Winnipeg police officers. They carried out an unusual rescue after some birdwatchers noticed something tangled in the protective netting at the West District Station. It was a great horned owl. It was caught in a net that shields the station from stray golf balls from Tuxedo Golf Ball, the golf course in Tuxedo. With expert help from Manitoba Conservation and Assiniboine Park Zoo, they attached a sharp knife to a pole and carefully cut the netting around the owl. Then they used a fishing net to lower the bird to the ground.
In my 32 years as a police officer, I've never had this experience before, and we take a lot of training for a lot of different scenarios. I don't ever recall us taking training on how to dislodge a gray-horned owl from a fish net.
The exhausted owl was untangled, checked over, and to everyone's relief, released back into the wild. That's good news. Here's a look now at what's going on in traffic along Portage Avenue. Things are moving well to start off this Friday morning. If you have any traffic tips or updates to share with us, please text them at 10400. Let's go now to Daniel Halmerson, who's live at the Forks this morning. Nuit Blanche is back tomorrow, and the Forks will have a lot of things going on there tomorrow as well. Good morning.
Good morning, Rochelle. Good morning, Manitoba. The Forks is just one of the sites where you can take in Nuit Blanche. Now, it's been here in Winnipeg since about 2010, but dates back, the concept at least dates back to France in 1984. It's a night of exploring and celebrating contemporary art. So everything from these big outdoor installations to galleries in the Exchange to the CCFM over in St. Boniface. Things happening all throughout downtown Winnipeg. Tomorrow night, it's a free event too, so if you've never been, I'll have some details on what you need to know before you head out the door, and that includes for kids as well. And we're going to speak to folks at the Forks about what's happening here over at the Human Rights Museum, St. Boniface, and more throughout the morning. So stay tuned, and it's going to be a great morning here. I can smell some coffee brewing here in the Forks Market, so looking forward to it, Rochelle.
Coffee and a cinnamon bun, indeed. Enjoy. Thank you, Daniel. All right, let's go out to the rooftop now. It's going to be a gorgeous weekend this weekend.
I was just going to say, I can practically smell the cinnamon buns from here, Rochelle. When I saw them at the Forks, I want to be like, bring some back, Danny, my telepathy. Yeah, so Rochelle, it's feeling gorgeous out here, and it will be gorgeous for Nuit Blanche. If you see me flinching up here, it's because after how many years we've changed the direction we're putting the graphics up, so it's going to take me a sec, folks. 7 degrees. It is nice and clear out here, although with that 7 degrees, cooler than we were starting the day at yesterday. I'm feeling chilly. I should be wearing my coat. Winds are out of the southeast at 14 kilometers per hour. Pressure falling, humidity, excuse me, at 84%. So we've kind of got a tale of two forecasts going on for Manitoba today and this weekend. We'll start with maybe the good news, depending on your taste in weather. Here in southern Manitoba, lots of sunshine and above seasonal temperatures. We're looking at highs in the low 20s all across the south, with clear skies to kick us off, maybe some clouds into the afternoon. Very gusty, though, out of the south at 40 to 60 kilometers per hour. And we're setting the stage for a very sunny, very hot weekend. If you can believe it, we're going to see temperatures climb even higher, particularly in the southwest. You could be touching the high 20s by weekend's end. Northern Manitoba, different story. We've been tracking this low pressure system pushing in from northern Saskatchewan. It could be spreading widespread rain into the afternoon today in the northwest, and then pushing into the east overnight. 5 to 10 millimeters is expected. All right, we're going to take a break here. I'm going to warm up, but stay with us. So much to our CTV Morning Live still to come.
Weather is brought to you by ABC Fire and Safety, your CO2 refill store.
At 6:15, the Premier has shed more light on the financial cost of this year's wildfire season. Wab Canoe says the bill so far is roughly $180 million, with some invoices still to come. That's $130 million more than the province sets aside in its annual budget for all emergencies. But Canoe says cost is not a barrier to helping people in need. This comes as the NDP government is trying to meet a campaign promise to balance the budget by 2027. The most recent figures for the fiscal year that ended in March show the deficit was on track to be almost $445 million higher than originally forecast. Thousands of Canadian postal workers are back on the picket lines after their union declared a nationwide strike. The job action is in response to massive new changes the federal government is ordering to curb major financial losses. CTV's Rachel Aiello has more.
Canada Post, an institution generations of Canadians have relied on, is effectively insolvent. And so the federal government has ordered immediate changes to how and how often Canadians' mail is delivered, including lifting the 10-year moratorium on converting Canadians to community mailboxes.
I want to be clear. Canada Post has an obligation to serve all Canadians in every community in Canada, and that will not change.
While 3/4 of Canadians already receive mail in a communal location, the move will bring an end to door-to-door delivery for 4 million addresses within 9 years.
Canada Post will inform Canadians as they go.
Citing reduced demand, Canada Post is also being told to lower its letter mail delivery standard, meaning instead of it taking between 2 and 4 days for small deliveries, it could take up to 7. And changes are also coming to rural post office operations, as recently recommended by an industrial inquiry.
These measures will help stabilize Canada Post's financial situation by generating close to $500 million per year.
Since 2018, Canada Post has lost more than $5 billion and is on track to lose close to $1.5 billion this year. And uncertainty about the reliability of Canada Post as a result of the festering labor dispute has exacerbated the crisis.
Issues that they raised.
Now, a move the minister hoped would bring both sides back to the table has led to a nationwide strike.
We are the members that move, the employees that move mail in the major plants in the country, and all the way down to the delivery. Nothing will be moving at this point until we come to a collective agreement.
Before the news of the strike broke, the Crown Corporation welcomed the sweeping changes, and its CEO vowed to urgently implement them. But now, Canada Post plans, much like the mail, may be on hold.
A Canadian from Ontario was shot and killed in Wisconsin while he was on a golf trip.
My brother was one of a kind, and he touched a lot of people's hearts.
On Wednesday, 32-year-old Mike Robinson was celebrating his first ever hole-in-one. Just hours later, he was dead. Police in Sheboygan Falls believe Robinson was shot by someone driving a small, dark-colored SUV. Robinson worked in the U.S. for a golf company. He and his wife, Rachel, had their first child 5 weeks ago. Robinson's family is waiting for autopsy results before they bring his body home. One of Canada's most wanted men, a convicted murderer who broke out of a BC jail 3 years ago, has been arrested in Qatar. Rabies Al-Khalil escaped a Port Coquitlam Correctional Center in 2022. He was facing first-degree murder charges in a 2012 gang shooting. He has been convicted of murder twice, along with drug trafficking and conspiracy offenses. The RCMP says it's working with Interpol and other international partners to have him return to Canada. Former FBI Director James Comey is reacting after being indicted by a federal grand jury on 2 charges, giving a false statement and obstruction of justice. The indictment comes only days after U.S. President Donald Trump ordered the Justice Department to go after his enemies. Comey took to Instagram, issuing a statement. Here's part of what he said.
My family and I have known for years that there are costs to standing up to Donald Trump. But we couldn't imagine ourselves living any other way. My heart is broken for the Department of Justice, but I have great confidence in the federal judicial system, and I'm innocent. So let's have a trial and keep the faith.
The president's longtime adversary is the first senior government official to face federal charges in the 2016 investigation into whether Trump's first presidential campaign colluded with Russia. Now to the action on the gridiron in week 4 of Winnipeg High School varsity football. We begin at River East Collegiate as the Kodiaks hosted the Kelvin High School Clippers. That River East touchdown was the only one of the matchup, Kodiaks winning 6-1. Also in the field Thursday, West Kildonan Collegiate won 49-29 against Kildonan East. John Taylor shut out Daniel Mack 36-0. Elmwood won its match against Murdoch McKay 35-32. Maples Collegiate beat Portage Collegiate Institute 34-14. And Oakbank Springfield Collegiate won 15-7 against Tech Fock. We have some road closures to remind you about this morning. At least one lane of traffic will be open at all times in each direction on Jefferson Avenue between Fur and Watson Streets. The southbound curb lane, Main Street, will be closed following the morning rush from Highland to Seaforth. And the westbound curb lane will be closed on McLeod and at Luelda. If you have any other traffic tips or updates to share, text them to us, please, at 10400.
Traffic is brought to you by Curtis Carpets, Manitoba's flooring experts.
A clear start to your Friday, a little bit chillier than what we were seeing yesterday. And by chilly, I mean seasonal for this time of year. It's a word we haven't been hearing a lot of lately. But yes, looking outside, looking pretty gorgeous and clear. My apologies. I'm not awake yet. So currently we are at 7 degrees here in Winnipeg, 4 in Portage la Prairie, 2 in Gimli. Over in Melita, 10 degrees this hour, 6 in the Wheat City. To the north, temperatures a little bit chillier than what we're seeing here in some parts, although Flin Flon, you're already at double digits at 12. Over in Gillam, 1 degree, just cracking seasonal there, 5 in Churchill. So while we are going to be dealing with clear skies to kick off the day, we will get a little bit more in the way of cloud coverage into the late afternoon. But you can see kind of on the corner of your screen there, that's a low pressure system that's pushing in from northern Saskatchewan, likely to spread a good amount of rainfall to the north today and tonight, particularly starting in the northwest and then fanning out to the east. Not the case for us here in the south. As you put the kids on the bus, it'll be about 11 degrees as they arrive, lots of sunshine. Lunchtime, it'll be heating up even further, 17 degrees. And then as they head home, that's when you start to see that cloud coverage getting warmer to 21 degrees, which is also our high for today. Also of note, it's going to be quite gusty out of the south at 40 to 50 kilometers per hour at times. So yes, hang on to your hats, folks. Likely it'll ease up a little bit overnight, not a ton. We have a low chance of showers associated with that low pressure system. Temperatures dipping down to 8. Tomorrow, if you can believe it, we get even hotter. 22 degrees under the clear sunny skies, dipping overnight just to 10. And then Sunday, beautiful Sunday. 26 is what we're expecting. As the north, I should mention, likely to deal with the clouds. We here in the south, so much sunshine to enjoy. Okay, your CTV or Skywatch pick of the day. This one submitted by Beverly and Renee in St. Rose de Lac, showing off the beautiful fall colors. Even though it doesn't feel like fall outside, we love to see it. Thanks for submitting, and keep those weather pictures coming to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
The Bathfitter Live Eye is brought to you by Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years.
Your morning just got a whole lot richer. We're giving away a staggering $20,000. Imagine what you could do with an extra 20 grand. A dream vacation, home renovations, paying off some bills. The possibilities are endless. Today's code word is cash. Head to the contest page on ctvwinnipeg.ca or scan the QR code on your screen. Enter the code word cash with your info for your chance to win CTV Your Morning Winnipeg's $20,000 giveaway. Good luck. This year's edition of the Guinness Book of World Records includes everything from donkeys, big cows, and banana cars.
Derek is the tallest donkey in the world at 167 centimetres or 5'5" to the withers.
There you have it. Derek the donkey took home the certificate for tallest living donkey, and his companion Bamboo won the title for longest years on a living donkey, measuring 88 centimeters long. Also making the cut, the world's longest banana car, an idea that this man had after seeing a banana at a gas station. And a Canadian cow from Alberta has been named the tallest steer. His name is Beef, and he's now living the tallest living steer on the planet at 195 centimeters or 6'5". He's also still growing and is on track to break another record. That's incredible. A 100th birthday is a huge celebration, and everyone after even bigger. So how about turning 107 years old? An Ontario woman did just that Thursday, surrounded by loved ones. CTV's Natalie Van Roy reports.
For 107-year-old Marion Anderson, this special birthday feels like any other day.
I hadn't planned such a tremendous crowd to be here. I thought we'd just get through it like every other day.
Anderson, born in September 1918.
Starting to grow up there.
A mother of 3 boys, she raised her family in the nation's capital.
Just growing up and having friends and having fun, eventually marrying somebody that lived with me for almost 70 years.
And there's a reason she doesn't look her age.
You don't put soap on your face. It makes wrinkles.
I think, like she said, maybe just living a simple life, not getting too ahead of yourself, a little sherry every day.
Anderson has lived through moments of history.
Remember the wars. One finished and then another one started. And I was quite able to understand everything about the Second World War, because I was a young woman then, a teenager.
Throughout her life, Anderson loved camping, traveling, working as a hairdresser, and spending time with her family. She was a talented quilt maker and in the 90s won Best Quilt of the Show at the Carp Fair.
It was a little bit above special. Oh no, I made literally hundreds of quilts, and I made for the babies at the hospital.
Good years of health and happiness. Signed, Mark Sutcliffe and David.
For her, the greatest gift, to be surrounded by her loved ones on her special day. Natalie Van Roy, CTV News.
Your Morning Winnipeg. Coffee is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
Casting our eye to the sky, 7 degrees to kick off this Friday. Clear conditions, southeast winds, they will be ramping up. Barometric is falling. Humidity at 84 degrees. Happy Friday and welcome back. We're in store for a gorgeous Friday ahead here in southern Manitoba. A bit of a different story to the north, as evidenced by our radar. It's nice and clear here in areas in and around Winnipeg. A little bit more dense cloud coverage to the north, and as we move and jump further to the west, this is the low pressure system we're tracking that's likely to bring some rainfall to areas of the northwest today. Could reach as far south as places like Swan River and Dauphin. Slight chance of some rain for you, but the northwest likely to get drenched today, late afternoon and overnight, and then it's likely to spread further into the northeast. Different story for us here in the south. We've got hot and clear temperatures on the go. 21 degrees for us here in Winnipeg. 15 is what's seasonal. We'll get a little bit more in the way of cloud coverage later on in the afternoon. The winds, though, will be quite strong and gusting out of the south at 30 to 50 kilometers per hour. Overnight, we too have a slight chance of some rainfall, very slight. Winds will be tapering off and shifting out of the northwest at 20 to 40 kilometers per hour. 8 degrees out there. And then into tomorrow, hotter if you can believe it, a high of 22 degrees with those winds shifting, easing up considerably. Into the rest of the weekend, it is going to be hotter. I can't believe I'm saying that. 26 degrees on Sunday, and in fact, areas in southwestern Manitoba could be getting as high up as the high 20s, closer to 30. We're not quite as warm. 25 on Monday, though, at no slouch. 27 on Tuesday, and we cool off a little bit on Wednesday.
Substance users in Manitoba could soon be held in detox for multiple days. Right now, intoxicated people taken into custody to sober up are only required to stay for a maximum of 24 hours. Premier Rob Canoe says changes to the law are coming, which would increase the length of stay. CTV's Jeff Keel explains why.
Premier Rob Canoe says it's time to detain people high on drugs like meth for longer periods of time.
But most importantly, it's based on what we've been hearing from you, who are fed up with seeing people having a fist fight with themselves on Main Street.
Right now, under the Intoxicated Persons Detention Act, when someone is taken into custody for detox by police, they can be kept for up to 24 hours. Premier Rob Canoe says that law was written with alcohol in mind. The effects of drugs like meth can last longer, so he says new legislation is coming that would increase the number of days someone could be held.
We need to focus on the enforcement too. Part of how people will find a path to a better tomorrow is detox and cleaning out. And some people are only going to reach detox and cleaning out if they are taken off the street.
Canoe says this would require a secure facility, which he says should be up and running in November. Main Street Project, which has provided detention services for 40 years, says the landscape of substance use has changed, but if people are being held for more time, enhanced medical care and long-term supports are needed. We are optimistic that reviewing and updating the legislation can be a positive step forward. Done right, it has the potential to improve outcomes for vulnerable Manitobans, reduce strain on emergency and policing resources, and align our province with best practices across Canada. The Premier says health supports would be included, and while treatment would not be mandatory, there would be a push towards that end.
The person who's high on meth, we're going to put them in a secure facility instead of the Health Sciences Center emergency room. But while they're there, there's going to be different modes of treatment made available to them.
Jeff Keel, CTV News, Winnipeg.
The legislature resumes sitting next week, and the Premier would like to see the bill in law by November. CTV News asked the Premier if the maximum number of days in custody will be raised to 2 or 3 days. He replied, "We were in the right ballpark." Passionate discussion at City Hall Thursday as councillors debated creating restrictions for where homeless encampments can pop up.
I don't think it's a human right to be sitting out there and nobody caring.
Council considered asking the public service to enforce banning encampments within a 50-meter perimeter around places such as parks, transit shelters, and schools. Daniel McIntyre, Ward Councillor Cindy Gilroy, says she's concerned about safety around encampments, noting she often cleans up weapons and evidence of drug use in parks in her ward. She wants people to be pressured to leave areas used by families and go where supports already are.
Those people that are experiencing this need us to step in because they can't do it for themselves. So I feel that we're setting some parameters and where we think people need to be in order to get income support.
Mayor Gillingham says the ultimate goal is to get people out of encampments and into housing. The motion was passed unanimously. The public service is also being directed to bring forward a report in 60 days. Canada will take the field on Saturday against host England for the Women's Rugby World Cup final, and the Canadian coach says he's looking forward to the challenge.
I think that was expected if we wanted to win the World Cup. If we want to win the World Cup, that England will be on our way, so just like excited for the game.
Hopefully we can inspire the next generation of great Canadian rugby players and grow the game back home. So not only the next generation that will play for the national team, but the next generation of club players and community players that will grow the game and just make it a more popular sport back home.
Canada will be looking to repeat last weekend's incredible semi-final win against New Zealand. A crowd of about 82,000 people is expected for the championship game. Canada is appearing in its second final after losing to England in 2014. You can catch the final live tomorrow with coverage starting at 9 a.m. Central Time on TSN. And of course, they'll be watching tomorrow in Souris, Manitoba, the home of Team Canada's Emily Tutosi, at a viewing party at Souris School. Doors open tomorrow at 9:30 with kickoff at 10. Good luck, girls. All right, here's a look at what's going on now on the Norwood Bridge. Looks like a smooth drive over here so far. If you have any traffic tips to share, text them to us, please, at 10400. And here's a look at your gas prices. The Canadian average stands at $1.36. The provincial average is slightly lower at $1.29. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.28, and the lowest price in the city is $1.22. All this info is on GasBuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your card today.
All right, coming up, we're live at the Forks this morning. Nuit Blanche is back tomorrow, and the Forks is one of the sites where you can check out a lot of cool things. Stay with us for more.
Weather is brought to you by Canadian Footwear, helping you find the perfect fit.
We are still a good 30-ish minutes away from sunrise, but we're starting to see it peak up, giving just a lovely kind of light show down here in downtown Winnipeg. 7 degrees under these clear, gorgeous skies. Winds are starting to ramp up out of the southeast at 14 kilometers per hour. Pressure falling. Humidity sits at 84%. Yes, maybe we'll start there with those winds. It's been quite breezy the last couple of days, and today will be no exception. Here in the south, those southerly gusts will continue, getting up to about 30 to 50 kilometers per hour. Most notably kind of in the later afternoon, or later morning, excuse me, early afternoon. Meanwhile, it comes with a ton of sunshine and above seasonal values. Here in the south, those highs will peak in the low 20s, well above seasonal. For us here in Winnipeg, 21 degrees, 15 is what's typical. To the north, however, we are tracking a low pressure system likely to sprinkle a good amount of rainfall starting in the northwest later on this afternoon and fanning out to engulf most of the north overnight. About 5 to 10 millimeters could fall. Tomorrow could be another rainy day as well. Sunday will be under the clouds. And we are going to go now to Daniel Halmerson, who's at the Forks learning all about Nuit Blanche, one of my favorite outdoor celebrations. What you got for us, Daniel?
Well, as I've kind of heard, it's shaping up to be a beautiful Saturday night in Winnipeg. And I'm joined by Kurt Tittlemeyer from Nuit Blanche and Culture Days Manitoba. It's finally here. Tell us a little bit about the concept behind Nuit Blanche.
Sure. Yeah, we're very excited. It's all happening Saturday. And Nuit Blanche, the concept which started in France, is to turn your downtown into a one-time only art gallery. So not just the indoor spaces, but also unusual spaces, parking lots, parks, alleyways, and we try to replicate that right here in Winnipeg.
And it really creates this vibrant downtown, the Forks, obviously, St. Boniface, all over downtown Winnipeg. There's over 100 events happening tomorrow night. Anything kind of jumping out at you?
Oh, it's very hard to choose, but I can speak about a couple highlights in each zone. So our event takes place downtown, and we have a great activation on Graham Avenue, that new pedestrian way that they've put there. We, of course, have huge art here at the Forks. We have our largest concentration of events is in the Exchange District, and we have fantastic roster of events called Hyper Art Fest in St. Boniface.
And for folks who've never been down to Nuit Blanche, where could they get some of the information for tomorrow night?
The best place is our website, nuitblanchewinnipeg.ca. And if you click on the map tile when you first get there, there's 4 different maps. There's a master map, there's regional map, and there's 2 regional maps, and there's a transit map for all of our free transit as well.
Wonderful. And we'll have more details about some of the installations, some of the other events you can see here at the Forks, Human Rights Museum, and more coming up throughout the show. But for now, we'll head to break, but we'll be back with more CTV Your Morning Winnipeg.
Looking at the earlier markets, the Dow Jones is trending higher. The Nasdaq slipping overnight. The S&P index is trading flat. The loonie is trading lower overnight at 71.70 cents U.S. The Hang Seng lost 356 points, and the Nikkei index is down 399 points. Good morning. It is 6:46. Thousands have now been able to return home after wildfires threatened dozens of communities in Manitoba over the summer. But one family from Leaf Rapids was left heartbroken when they returned to find their home destroyed. CTV's Alex Karpa shares their story.
A caved roof and water damage is now all that's left of Rose Biggety's home. After being away from her home in Leaf Rapids in northern Manitoba for months due to wildfires, Rose was excited to finally get back. But when she returned home earlier this week, she didn't know the nightmare that awaited her.
My couches were moldy. My daughter's bedroom, the ceiling collapsed. Everything that she had in there was mold.
Sitting outside Mom's house. Rose and her family have nowhere to live in the community and were forced to pitch a tent on their yard. Now she is once again being forced to leave her community and is heading to Thompson, about a 3-hour drive from her home, to stay in a hotel.
I don't even know if I'm coming back to stay in Leaf Rapids because there's no homes. I have no place to stay here.
Rose's son Irvin says residents should have never been let back into town if authorities assessed the homes.
You know, it's a failure on Red Cross, it's a failure on the province, a failure on the administration. And, you know, they need to be responsible about this stuff.
Manitoba Premier Wab Kinew said the province has been providing short-term help for residents like Rose, but there is long-term help coming.
Like a program for people from the Lynn Lakes and the Flin Flons, just helping to maybe get a little bit more resources out to them.
Rose is completely frustrated.
I just wanted to come home to a house where I could sleep, where I could bake, where I could cook.
On top of not knowing how long she'll be in the hotel in Thompson, she doesn't know what's going to happen to her home or if she'll even be able to return to her community. Alex Karpa, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Prime Minister Mark Carney is in London this morning. Carney met with British Prime Minister Keir Starmer before participating in a moderated discussion at the Global Progress Action Summit. He's also set to meet with the Prime Ministers of Australia, Denmark, Spain, and Iceland. The talks are expected to revolve around trade and mutual defense priorities. It's Carney's second official visit to the UK and his third one-on-one with Starmer since becoming Prime Minister in March. An Ontario court has approved an auction of more than 4,000 items from the Hudson's Bay Company. No word yet exactly what's going on sale, but it will be split between an online auction starting November 12th and an in-person auction a week later. Not included is the royal charter that led to the creation of the company in 1670. A couple more Winnipeg institutions are offering up special programming in honor of National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. The Canadian Museum for Human Rights is offering free admission Tuesday, where you can explore a number of special exhibits. That includes a powerful large-scale wooden art piece, the Witness Blanket, made from hundreds of items collected from residential schools, churches, government buildings, and other sites from across Canada. A traditional knowledge keeper will also share the teachings in the Garden of Contemplation throughout the day. The museum will be open 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. You can also head over to Assiniboine Park, where a sacred fire will be lit at 9 a.m. at the Indigenous Peoples Garden at the Leaf. Visitors are encouraged to spend some time in reflection and hear from an Indigenous educator. A share of admissions and all the proceeds from orange shirt sales will be going towards a pair of Indigenous organizations. There are several other local organizations hosting special programming for Orange Shirt Day. You can head to our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, for all the details. And some road closures to remind you about this morning. At least one lane of traffic will be open at all times in each direction on Jefferson Avenue between Fur and Watson Streets. The southbound curb lane on Main Street will be closed following the morning rush from Highland to Seaforth. And the westbound curb lane will be closed on McLeod at Luelda. If you have any other traffic tips to share, text them to us, please, at 10400.
Casting our eye to the sky, 7 degrees out there, nice and clear. Winds are out of the southeast at 14 kilometers per hour. Pressure is falling this hour. Humidity is at 84%. So we've got two kind of very polar opposite forecasts to tell you about today. We'll start in the south, where you can see it is quite clear. Lots of sunshine expected today and into the weekend, with those above seasonal temperatures continuing and only getting warmer. Meanwhile, the north, totally different story. You can see some denser cloud coverage there. Meanwhile, a low pressure system that we're tracking is likely to bring some rainfall off and on throughout the day and into tonight. It likely won't arrive until late afternoon, as evidenced by these conditions. So it's pushing from the west, coming into the east. So Thompson likely to get it first with a high of 17 degrees. Island Lake likely to stay dry today, 18, 16 in Gillam. Churchill quite overcast at 13. To the northwest, likely that rainfall is going to start this afternoon. 5 to 10 millimeters could fall today and into tonight. Again, likely to last throughout, likely tomorrow as well. This is quite a dense system that's not moving too quickly. And then Sunday you end in clouds. Today, however, 16 degrees in the Paw, 14 in Flin Flon, Lynn Lake at 12. Meanwhile, southwestern Manitoba, very hot, very gusty, 24 in Brandon, 22 in Neepawa, Dauphin at 22 as well, Swan River at 19. There is a slight chance of us getting a taste of those showers overnight. Today, though, dry and beautiful, hot, above seasonal. 21 is what we're looking at here in Winnipeg. 15 is what's typical. Some strong southerly winds for us, as well as in northwestern Ontario, where the highs are also above seasonal. 21 in Kenora, 20 in Dryden, 21 in Fort Francis. As mentioned, slight chance of that rainfall. Winds ease up a little bit overnight. And then into tomorrow, a high of 22 degrees. And if you can believe it, on Sunday, we get even hotter at 26. Kick off next work week under a mix of sun and cloud. Another hot seasonal high of 25 degrees.
Thank you, Catherine. Let's check in now on Bo at Bounce 99.9. Good morning, Bo. Happy Friday.
You know it. It's always a happy Friday.
It is.
I'm getting set for the Bomber game with my orange shirt. And I got to give a shout out to a Bounce listener, Tanis Akehurst, who made this Bomber bucket hat for me. So I promised I'd wear it on CTV today.
I love it.
She dropped it off yesterday. Isn't it great?
It is. It's so cool.
Yeah. The sun's going to shine tomorrow, so I'll have the hat and the T-shirt on. Okay, so it's the first weekend of fall, and we're talking about your favorite thing about fall. I'm going to ask you in a minute. Okay. Mine is pretty simple. It's sports. It's that time of year. I've got the Bombers. I've got the Jets. The Blue Jays are playing. The NFL is on. And, hey, how about the women's rugby team going for the World Championship? I know, against England. I don't watch a lot of rugby, but I'll be watching that on TSN this weekend for sure. So for me, it's sports. What about your favorite things on fall?
For me, it's more related to nature. I love going outside because it's not too cold. It's not too hot. Well, it's been hot this week, but it's not a good example of that. But usually it's a little bit crisper in the evening and in the mornings, and the smell of fall, there's something special about it. And of course, the beautiful leaves. I just love all the different foliage. But I also love the comfort food side of fall, like the chili with, you know, the cheese on the chili, or the hearty soups, the stews, those kinds of things. Nice breads. I just made a zucchini cake yesterday. Those are all comfort foods for me, which I love about fall. But I also get to bring out my high boots again, because it's that time of year when you start wearing different clothing. You could wear sweaters and high boots and those kinds of things. I love that part about fall as well. Fall is probably my favorite season, actually, Bo. So now you know.
Yeah. It sure sounds like it. I'm willing to trade some of my world-famous chili for some of your zucchini cake, okay?
Ooh,
next
it's
time?
Good. It is really good. I might have to bring you a slice.
Okay, I appreciate it. Have a great weekend.
You too, Bo. Go Bombers. Well, major new warnings about government spending in a financial forecast that comes ahead of the November budget. CTV's Abigail Beemans breaks down the numbers.
It should be very alarming.
Strong words from the budget watchdog about the country's financial picture.
Stupefying. Shocking.
His new report projects a sharp hike to the annual deficit from $51.7 billion last year to $68.5 billion this year.
All of which will add to the cost of living for Canadians. How is it possible that any prime minister could have been more expensive than Trudeau?
A large part of that is in response to what has happened, not by choice, but we had to be there for workers. If you're in the auto sector, the steel industry, in the forestry industry, you expect your government to be there.
But what the parliamentary budget officer calls unsustainable? The debt to GDP ratio, what the Trudeau government often lauded as declining, is now set to increase in the medium term.
And this is the first time in 30 years that I've seen one in which that ratio is going up over time. So that's definitely a cause for concern.
The report includes $115 billion in announced new spending, but notably does not include the Prime Minister's commitment to hit the NATO target of 5% of defense spending by 2035, or any of the government's spending review that's expected to hit 15% in cuts by 2029.
I think the government is in a bind right now trying to deal with this trade war and the effects on the economies.
More potential spending not included in the report. The PBO calculates about $20 billion in Liberal campaign promises that have yet to be put into action. The budget and any potential solutions to what the watchdog has flagged are still 6 weeks away.
All right, we're going to take a break here. We'll be back after this with your 7 o'clock headlines. Stay with us. It's Friday, September 26th. Today, slow to respond. Growing concern over Winnipeg's emergency response times after a patient waits hours for help. Plus, mail on hold. Canada Post workers walk off the job amid plans to end door-to-door delivery. And trash to trend. The bold fashion exhibit turning garbage into glamour. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning, Manitoba. Happy Friday. We made it to the end of the week, and we have a lot in the next hour for you, including some reaction to the Canada Post situation, some of the announcements from the federal government on major changes that are happening with Canada Post, as well as the nationwide strike that begins today. And then we're also going to hear about National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, which is happening on Tuesday. We're going to introduce you to a local artist who designed the logo that is on the orange shirts that you can buy at Walmart Canada.
Oh,
so we're going to speak with her about that honor and what it means to her to be part of that. And the weather is going to be just incredible. It doesn't feel like fall.
It sure doesn't. Honestly, I keep checking the date and I'm shocked because, yes, not only here in Winnipeg, but actually areas to the southwest in the coming days, it's going to get to the upper 20 degrees.
Wow.
Like brushing against 30. So yes, it's unseasonably warm.
It's
However,
beach weather.
It really is. Maybe that's what we should be doing this weekend after the Bomber game, of course.
Yes.
However, I do have to tell you, northern Manitoba is in for a bit of a different story with our conditions. So I feel a little bad being too excited about our sunshine. Right now, though, we've still got a good maybe 20 minutes from sunrise, official sunrise, 7 degrees here in downtown Winnipeg. Conditions are relatively very clear. Winds are out of the southeast. They're shaking our camera around. They are going to be ramping up considerably. Details on that in a moment. Pressure is falling, humidity at 84%. So yes, plenty of sunshine on the way. The temperatures a little bit sluggish to start. By yesterday, I believe we were already kind of almost at the 10-degree mark. Morden Winkler at 6, Sprague at 3, Kenora already at 6 degrees this hour, Melita at 10 degrees, over in Dauphin 9. To the north we go, in temperatures a little bit cooler, particularly around Gillam at 1, Thompson at 3, but looking sitting pretty in Flin Flon at 12 degrees. So as mentioned, plenty of sunshine on the way for us, but we are tracking this system here. You see it on the corner there. That's a low pressure system, likely going to be spreading a good amount of rainfall to northern Manitoba later on today and into tonight. Not the case for the kids here in Winnipeg. You don't need to send them on the bus with the slicker and the umbrella. It'll be about 11 degrees when they start the day under those clear sunny skies. 12 at lunch, or 17 at lunchtime, Catherine. And then 21 heading home, mix of sun and cloud. And then coincidentally, that is our high for today. 15 is what's typical. I mentioned those winds. They're going to be very strong out of the south at 30, gusting at times to 50 kilometers per hour. Overnight temperatures dipping down to 8 degrees. Very slight chance. We do get a taste of that system, about a 30% shot of some showers. Likely we're staying dry, setting the stage for just a gorgeous weekend to come. Your weather art of the day, Shiley posted this, and she seems to love fall like you, Rochelle, age 9. She heard our call that we're running short on weather art. So thank you so much, 9-year-old Shiley, for sending that in. And if you've got any weather photos, weather-themed artwork done by your kids, we would love to see them. Again, we're running quite low, and we're featuring one every day on Your Morning Winnipeg. So send those submissions. We want to see them at winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
More questions and concerns about the reliability of ambulance care in our city. This comes after a 93-year-old Winnipeg man fell and broke his hip on the front lawn of his home. Despite calls to 911, he was left lying on the ground for 6 hours before any help arrived. CTV's John Hendricks reports.
When you call for an ambulance in a medical emergency, you imagine help will be on the way quickly. But that isn't what happened when 93-year-old Alan Krause fell and broke his hip Wednesday. The family called 911 and was told there would be a 3-hour wait. That proved to be optimistic.
He was on his lawn for 6 hours. 6 long, devastating, painful hours before an ambulance attended.
Michael Wojciechowski says his father-in-law was in agony, but they were told not to move him or give him anything to eat or drink.
My wife was called to come to the scene where he was, and when she got there, she just saw her dad in pain, screaming in pain, and there was nothing she could do.
Raina Schmartin lives across the street and saw Krause lying on the ground with people around him not too long after he fell. She's shocked how long it took for an ambulance to arrive.
I think it's frightening. I think people in the city should be scared.
It's not acceptable. I can tell you, when you talk to the workers, that they're horrified by hearing this. It's not something they're to be proud of.
The union representing paramedics says 6-hour waits should never happen. But Kyle Ross says right now, there just aren't enough workers to get to everyone quickly.
The service is stretched so thin, and there's not enough paramedics, and these incidents will unfortunately continue to happen if we don't find a way to get people to take up this profession.
Wojciechowski says something has to change, and sooner rather than later.
If City Hall doesn't take action, this is going to happen again. And next time it could be your father, one of your loved ones. And then you're going to go through this pain that our family is going through right now.
John Hendricks, CTV News, Winnipeg.
We are told Alan Krause is in hospital and the family is still waiting to find out exactly how he will be treated. A statement to CTV News Winnipeg from Winnipeg Fire Paramedic Services says in part it cannot speak to specific medical incidents, saying WFPS triages medical calls using the Medical Priority Dispatch System. Once the call taker provides information, the call is classified and sorted for dispatch. It also says, quote, "We have seen an increase in the number of calls we receive year over year. While we do our best to get help to residents who need us, sometimes some patients may wait longer than others." Security was on hand at the University of Manitoba campus Thursday afternoon as protesters tried to overwhelm a talk being given by a controversial speaker.
I don't think it is. I don't think it's respectful. Will you excuse me, officer?
Former Mount Royal University Policy Studies professor Francis Widdowson was there to have a discussion on claims the discovery of mass graves at a former Kamloops residential school was a hoax. During the talk, participants were encouraged to stand on mats that indicated whether they agree or disagree with the premise. Some in attendance found her presence objectionable, while others felt she should be given space to speak.
And then for someone to come along, you know, saying Kamloops is a hoax. I'm from Fort Alexander. We have unmarked graves over there. And I'm not going to let someone say that this is all a hoax.
I just think we should be able to have speakers out of the campus, period. Doesn't matter what they're talking about. There needs to be speakers who are actually talking about something that people seem to be very afraid to talk about. And I think the things that we're most afraid of to talk about are things we need to talk about most.
Widdowson also plans to give a similar talk at the University of Winnipeg today. The University of Manitoba told CTV News the outdoor discussion was allowed to proceed, citing the university's commitment to freedom of expression. Manitoba Premier Wab Kinew laid out his government's economic plan Thursday, and it involves changing some business tax credits and offering a new loan program to boost economic development.
This is how you make Manitoba a have province. This is how you make a boom happen in the Keystone province.
Kinew outlined the plan in a speech to the Manitoba Heavy Construction Association. It includes converting parts of its manufacturing investment tax credit into an immediate retail sales tax exemption on new machinery and equipment. It means manufacturers will save the money up front instead of waiting for a credit reimbursement. The government is also launching a $15 million loan program for businesses that invest in things like new equipment and technology. Kinew hopes it will push more companies to invest in our province.
When we talk to businesses and we tell them we've got affordable hydro rates, that's the same thing as having lower taxes. And then we tell them we have an educated, very talented workforce, and by the way, we don't have the housing prices you see in Toronto or British Columbia. That's another competitive advantage. So what we're adding here today are a few more policy levers, particularly for the manufacturers who've been threatened by Donald Trump and those investors who want to lead into Manitoba.
Kinew's economic vision includes expansion at the Port of Churchill and a trade corridor with other Western provinces. U.S. President Donald Trump is imposing more tariffs, taking aim at a broad range of imported goods. They include a 100% duty on imported branded drugs. Trump writing on social media that companies will face the tariff, quote, unless a company is building their pharmaceutical manufacturing plant in America. He also announced a 50% tariff on all kitchen cabinets, bathroom vanities, and associated products, and a 30% tariff on upholstered furniture. And that's not all. Trump is also slapping a 25% tariff on, quote, heavy big trucks made in other parts of the world. All of these tariffs are expected to take effect on October the 1st. This fashion exhibit is about more than just dirty clothes. It's a showcase about how designers use waste as inspiration on the runway. Items on display include a Paco Rabanne top made using plastic bottles and a dress decorated with crystals made from human sweat. The show's curators say they want to show how designers reject perfection to add some personality into their work. Here's a look at what's happening on Kenaston Boulevard. Things have picked up over here, as you can see, but overall moving quite well. No issues to tell you about at this point. If you have any traffic tips or updates to share with us, please text them at 10400. Let's go now to Daniel Homerson, who's live at the Forks. We're talking about Nuit Blanche, which is happening tomorrow. It's going to be a gorgeous day and a night for it, too, Daniel. Good morning.
Good morning, Rochelle. Good morning, Manitoba. Yeah, absolutely looking forward to Nuit Blanche. Now, heard last year they saw about 35,000 people checking out events happening throughout downtown, including here at the Forks, over in the Exchange District, across the bridge in St. Boniface, and there's so much in store for tomorrow night with over 100 events happening. Now, coming up over the next hour, we're going to hear about what's happening over at the Canadian Museum for Human Rights tomorrow, an exciting new art installation outdoors there, and then what's happening here at the Forks, everything from these art installations to food to music under the canopy, so stay tuned. Plenty coming your way about Nuit Blanche 2025.
It's such a fun night in our city. Okay, thank you, Daniel. Let's go out to the rooftop now. It's a gorgeous start to the day. Catherine, how's it feeling out there?
It's a little crisper than yesterday, Rochelle, but honestly, it's a seasonal temperature. We're just so unused to it lately. We've been dealing with this warm air mass, and that is expected to not only linger but intensify into the weekend. Currently, it's 7 degrees, 1 or 2 clouds out here. Winds are out of the south-southeast. Pressure's on the rise, humidity at 84%. So I'm going to start to the north and work our way down. Northern Manitoba, we told you about this low pressure system that we've been tracking the last couple of days. It's developed over northern Alberta, and it's tracking across Saskatchewan. Likely expecting to cross into our province later on this afternoon, beginning in the northwest, as mentioned, later on this afternoon, and then fanning out further into the northeast. Rainfall is likely to be strong and steady overnight and likely lasting into tomorrow. All in, about 5 to 10 millimeters worth could fall. And then Sunday, you recover nicely, although you do get a good amount of cloud coverage. Temperatures seasonal, while we here in the south, very much a different story. We're going to be dealing with clear, sunny skies, very strong southerly winds at 30, gusting at times to 50 kilometers per hour. Hot highs in the south, upwards of 20 degrees. For us in Winnipeg, 21. 15 is what's typical. And from there, even hotter temperatures are on the way. Southwestern Manitoba in particular, you could be coming close to the 30-degree mark by the start of next work week.
Weather is brought to you by Garage Masters, your complete garage specialists.
It's time now for our question of the day. We want to know, what's your favorite fall event? You can text your answer along with your name to 10400. Make sure to follow the automated instructions so we can feature your response later in the show. At Your Morning Winnipeg, we're all about celebrating your amazing pets, furry, feathered, or scaly. Your Pet of the Week submissions have been amazing. We want to see even more, whether it's dogs, cats, birds, or any other pet pals. Send them our way, please. Drop your pet photos and a fun little story about them to petoftheweek@ctv.ca, and then catch us every Thursday to find out if your pet is our Pet of the Week on Your Morning Winnipeg. We're going to take a break here. We'll be back after this. Good morning. Police are looking for witnesses after a woman was hit by a vehicle and seriously injured in West Winnipeg. It happened shortly before midnight Friday as she was crossing Notre Dame Avenue at McPhillip Street. Police say the woman, who's in her 60s, remains in hospital in unstable condition. The driver remained at the scene. Anyone with information or dash cam footage is asked to contact the Traffic Division or Crime Stoppers. Canada Post workers across the country are on strike after the federal government moved to end door-to-door delivery, slow down delivery, and close some post offices.
We're a service to the Canadian public, and to see the end of door-to-door delivery, there's a lot of relationships formed that way. We also, a lot of elderly people can't make it to community boxes.
The union served notice last night that workers were walking off the job immediately. This means no new mail or parcels will be processed or delivered during this latest labor disruption. The federal government says changes are needed to put Canada Post back on solid financial footing after losses of more than $5 billion since 2018. Now to the action on the gridiron in week 4 of Winnipeg High School varsity football. We begin at River East Collegiate as the Kodiaks hosted the Kelvin High School Clippers. That River East touchdown was the only one of the matchup. Kodiaks winning 6-1. Also in the field Thursday, West Kildonan Collegiate won 49-29 against Kildonan East. John Taylor shut out Daniel Mack 36-0. Elmwood won its match against Murdoch McKay 35-32. Maples Collegiate beat Portage Collegiate Institute 34-14. And Oakbank's Springfield Collegiate won 15-7 against Tech-Rock. Here's what's happening now on McPhillip Street. It looks like things are moving quite well over here. Looks like a smooth drive so far this Friday morning. If you see any problems, text them to us, please, at 10400. It's time now for some entertainment news. A familiar face returns to the big screen. Rick Moranis is ending his longtime break from live-action acting for a role in Spaceballs 2. That's the sci-fi parody sequel to the 1987 film directed and co-written by the legendary Mel Brooks. Moranis will return to his role as Lord Dark Helmet, an obvious spoof of Darth Vader. Moranis took an extended break from acting after the 1991 death of his wife from cancer and has worked sparingly since then. Although he's done some voice character work over the years, he hasn't been in a film since Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves came out in 1997. In addition to Moranis and the 99-year-old Brooks, others in the cast of Spaceballs 2 include Bill Pullman, Daphne Zuniga, and Josh Gad. It's scheduled to debut in theaters in 2027. Canadian singer-songwriter Biff Naked is telling her life story through a new documentary at the Edmonton International Film Festival. The new film is called Biff Naked. It covers the ups and downs of her life from her mainstream music career to her battle with breast cancer. The singer was born in India in secret to a teenage mother. She was rejected by both families, ended up in Canada, adopted by missionaries. The search is over for the next generation of Air Bud pups. Meet Charlie and Summer. They beat out thousands of other golden retrievers in a nationwide search to be cast in the role of the basketball-playing pooch. Air Bud Entertainment says the two Goldens best embody athleticism, charm, and heart of Buddy, adding they carried, quote, the magic that made the original so unforgettable. Air Bud returns set for release next summer. Kickstart the weekend with some great entertainment starting at 7 with Celebrity Wheel of Fortune, and Special Forces World's Toughest Test follows at 8. It's all right here tonight on CTV.
The Bathfitter Live Eye is brought to you by Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years.
Friday is shaping off to be a gorgeous one here in southern Manitoba. 7 degrees, 1 or 2 clouds, but look at that. The sun is rising. It's creating just a lovely light show out there. Winds are ramping up out of the south-southeast at 17 kilometers per hour. Pressure rising, humidity at 84%. It's going to be a sunny but a very blustery day ahead in southern Manitoba. Look for gusts to reach 30 to 50 kilometers per hour. Lots of sunshine to report here as we kick off the day. A little bit more in the way of those dense clouds to the north. And with it, we are tracking this low pressure system. That always disorients me. That could be tracking some rainfall, good chance of it through northwestern Manitoba a little later on this afternoon, and then spreading across all of northern Manitoba tonight. About 5 to 10 millimeters could be falling, so grab those rain umbrellas and keep them handy. For us in the south, totally different stories. Sunshine and above seasonal values. 21 is what we're looking at here in Winnipeg. 15 is what's seasonal. I mentioned those strong winds coming out of the south and that increase in cloudiness a little later on the afternoon, but for the most part it will be quite sunny. Overnight tonight we could get a little bit in the way of fog, and we have a slight chance of getting those showers associated with that same low pressure system we told you about. 8 degrees overnight, a little bit chillier than what we've been seeing, but that's not an omen into tomorrow, I'll tell you. 22 degrees, slightly less severe winds out of the west at 20 kilometers per hour. Lots of clear sunny skies to enjoy. From there, if you can believe it, we get even hotter. Sunday is looking particularly sweltering, 26 degrees under those clear skies. We kick off the work week under mostly cloudy skies with a high of 25. Tuesday looks to be our hottest day at 27. Well, I want to mention southwestern Manitoba could even be getting hotter than that. So it may feel like fall or look like fall or be fall, but it is not feeling like fall. We got there, took a roundabout way. It's Friday and it's early. Your Skywatch picture of the day. Beverly and Renee are embracing the beautiful vision of fall that is out there in Saint-Rose-de-Lac. Thank you so much for submitting that photo. And if you've got any Winnipeg weather photos to show us, or Manitoba weather photos to show us for that matter, please send them our way. We love to get them from all over the province. Email them to winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
Thank you, Catherine. Your morning just got a whole lot richer. We're giving away a staggering $20,000. Imagine what you could do with an extra 20 grand in your pocket. Maybe a dream vacation, some home renovations, paying off some bills. The possibilities are endless. Today's code word is cash. Head to the contest page on ctvwinnipeg.ca or scan the QR code on your screen. Enter the code word cash with your info for your chance to win CTV Your Morning Winnipeg's $20,000 giveaway. Good luck. It's time now for this week's Adorable Adoptables. We begin with Benson. This bouncy, tail-wagging bundle of energy lives for playtime, long walks, and any excuse to zoom around. Benson loves hanging out with his puppy dog pals. Beautiful eyes. Next up is Cher. This 4-year-old cat is a mix of sweet and spicy and will come to you when she wants attention. Cher is looking for a family that will respect her boundaries. And then meet Max. A 5-year-old pooch, Max is energetic, playful, and thrives on outdoor adventures. Max is gentle and will offer comfort with a nudge or a cuddle. If you think you can offer any of these animals a good home, just head down to the Winnipeg Humane Society or give them a call. The number is on your screen. A BC thrift store is at the center of a 1,000-year-old mystery. A collection of antique jewelry someone donated may actually be ancient Roman treasure. Now, as CTV's Andrew Johnson shows us, university students will have the opportunity to piece together its past.
You never know what's in the bottom of a box.
Among the thousands of donations sorted through each day at Chilliwack's Thrifty Boutique, some unusual discoveries stick out.
Diamond ring in the bottom of the sock. We've had like $300 in a men's package of underwear. Ooh, that's interesting.
Their origins are sometimes a mystery, even a question of who, not what.
Hopefully, someone will come and claim Mom.
But none have attracted as much attention as the items that, even after multiple online searches, left the small army of volunteers stumped.
We just winged it, put a price on it, and threw it in the display case.
$30 for these, a collection of very old-looking rings and medallions. Turns out they may be much older than anyone could have imagined, but one shopper had a suspicion.
I guess what happened was an archaeologist came into the store, saw this collection on display, and said, "Listen, you really need to contact someone at SFU."
The items were donated to Simon Fraser University, where experts now believe they could date back as far as the 5th century AD, what was once the Western Roman Empire.
We've got potentially hundreds of generations of people who have worn these pieces or who, cared for them, who shared them, passed them down to loved ones.
They could also be forgeries. That is still a possibility. Something students will explore in a new archaeology course created specifically to study the find next fall.
It's really, really exciting to try to think about what the stories that will emerge from this research might be.
While the hunt continues here for the next treasure. Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Chilliwack, BC.
That's pretty cool, all right? We're going to take a break here. Coming up at 7:28, we're going to hear more about Nuit Blanche and the 100 events happening around the city. Stay with us. Let's go back now to Daniel Homerson, who's live at the Forks this morning, standing right in front of the Canadian Museum for Human Rights, where there will be activities there for Nuit Blanche as well. Good morning.
Good morning, Rochelle. Good morning, Manitoba. Taking things outside. It's a little cool out here, but it's going to be a bright and hopefully beautiful night tomorrow. I'm joined now by Angeliki Biasi from the Canadian Museum for Human Rights. You're one of the venues for Nuit Blanche 2025, and people don't even need to go into the museum to experience. What can they expect outside?
Oh yes, we're very proud to be part of Nuit Blanche. We have art and activities outside, as you mentioned, and inside. So outside we will have 2 powerful installations that use sound and light and beautiful physical structures, video to large scale, to talk really about interesting topics around human rights, such as the struggle for human rights, but also the role we can all play to make the world a better place.
And once you head inside, what can people expect inside this year?
Inside, of course, everything is free and accessible. Everything is happening on level 1. There is going to be a very dynamic lineup of performers doing poetry and music, and of course everybody can dance in a great party, as well as engaging activities that invite us all to be thinking about our sense of belonging, to be thinking about each other, and to light each other through, our connections.
Before we came on air, you kind of touched on the power of art to help tell stories of human rights. Can you touch on that for me?
Yes, that's true. Tomorrow night, actually, art takes the central stage to speak about, the importance of human rights in our lives. And art, as we all know, is a powerful medium for activism for human rights. So the artists invite us to be inspired by their work, to be going in their beautiful physical structures, to be listening to the very insightful stories of artists and around the world. Darcy Adamant's video outside the museum speaks to that.
Wonderful. Well, looking forward to it here at the Canadian Museum for Human Rights tomorrow night.
Checking outside on this gorgeous Friday, 7 degrees, 1 or 2 clouds lingering. Winds are out of the south-southeast. They are set to ramp up considerably. Details on that in a moment. Barometric pressure is on the rise. Humidity sits at 84%. So yes, tons of sunshine on the way for us here in southern Manitoba. The north is dealing with an entirely different story. Our radar is not picking up a ton of anything except for some dense cloud coverage to the north. And on the very kind of corner there of your screen, this is the system that's likely to bring a good amount of rainfall to northern Manitoba. In fact, our futurecast gives us a better sense of this. So this is care of a low pressure system. As the day progresses, it's likely to track into the northwest, likely late afternoon, bringing a good steady stream of rainfall. And as the evening progresses, look at this, it fans out and then begins to intensify overnight. So rainfall off and on throughout all of northern Manitoba, about 5 to 10 millimeters worth could be falling. And then for us here in the south, we'll be dealing with potentially some fog patches to kick off the day, but from there, very clear, very sunny. Likely that rainfall will continue through Saturday, and then Sunday is likely to be a cloudy one for northern Manitoba while we're staying in the sunshine. In terms of our temperatures, above seasonal is the name of the game here. 21 today in Winnipeg, 15 is what's typical. Overnight, we do have a slight chance of getting some of those showers from that system. Likely, though, we're going to stay dry. Into Saturday, a high of 22 degrees, clear sunny skies once again. Overnight, temperatures dipping down to 10, and we're back at it on Sunday with hotter temperatures, if you can believe it, 26. And we kick off the work week with a little bit in the way of cloud coverage, but a very hot high of 25 degrees.
Thank you, Catherine. Tuesday, September 30th is the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. It's also known as Orange Shirt Day. It's a time of reflection on historic residential school abuses. If you're looking to buy an orange shirt, a Manitoba Indigenous artist designed the orange t-shirt sold at Walmart Canada. Joining us now is that artist, Brooklyn Rudolph. Good morning, Brooklyn.
Hi, good morning.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations on this.
Thank you so much for having me today.
This is so cool, and you're wearing your designs, obviously. It's beautiful. How did this all start for you and Walmart?
Yes, so absolutely. So last year, there was actually an artist call out from Indigenous Proud. They were looking for an Indigenous artist to design an orange shirt for the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. Okay. So I was like, you know what? I had already created a meaningful painting inspired by both of my grandparents who were residential school survivors. And, I wanted to honor residential school survivors and those impacted. So I submitted. I wasn't too sure if I was going to get chosen, but I was like, you know what? I'm just going to apply anyways. My husband really encouraged me to apply, so I applied, and later on, earlier this year, I actually found out that I was selected across the country. So I'm very, very proud.
It's incredible. I love the stars and the two little children holding hands. Yeah. What inspired this image? Tell us what's going on in this image.
So both of my grandparents, they attended Guy Hill Residential School here in Manitoba. Okay. And the resilience that they carried, always standing together, their strength, I really wanted to include that in my painting. And all the children that have been impacted by residential schools, always standing together, close and in unity. I really wanted to include that. But the star in the middle here is called Kiwatin. In Cree, it is called the Going Home Star, guiding the children home. So I really wanted to include that. And if there was one thing my grandpa always told my family and I, was to share love. So I wanted to include the eagle. It represents love in the 7 teachings as well. So
it's beautiful. It's a hopeful message. And so what does it feel like walking into Walmart and seeing your shirt there?
It was crazy. Like, I was not expecting, you know, my art to have this much of an impact. So walking into Walmart, like even with my family, it was like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe this like happened, you know, like this is such a positive impact. It's a positive message. It's going back to support the healing of Indigenous survivors and families across the country, and I couldn't be more grateful.
That is incredible. And what happens is it looks like some of these shirts are sold out already.
Yes, I've been hearing, you know, around the city of Winnipeg that they're basically all sold out.
Wow.
So I'm very, very happy about that.
And so talk about where the money is going. Is it a portion of the money, most of the money? Okay.
Yes, so 100% of the profits from each shirt sold are going to support Indigenous charities such as like the Orange Shirt Society and the Indian Residential School Survivors Society. So those go directly to, you know, these Indigenous charities to support the healing of, you know, those impacted by residential schools.
Are your grandparents still living?
They passed away, but I know they would be really proud.
I guess so. Okay,
Yeah.
so what do you want people to think about on Tuesday? What do you want them to reflect on for Orange Shirt Day?
Yeah, so I would love them to, you know, reflect on what happened in these schools and, you know, work towards bringing truth and reconciliation, listening to survivors and those impacted by residential schools, and, you know, just standing with us while we're still on our healing journeys. It would mean so much to, you know, not only my family, but many others who've been impacted by residential schools across the country.
That's beautiful. Brooklyn, thank you so much and congratulations.
Thank
it's a
you.
beautiful shirt and
Thank
a beautiful
you so much.
image.
I appreciate it.
Let's take a look now at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.36. The provincial average is slightly lower at $1.29. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.28. The lowest price in the city is $1.22. All this info is on GasBuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your card today. Your Morning Winnipeg. Coffee is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
We are kicking off the day on a gorgeous note. Look at that sun shining brightly, 7 degrees, 1 or 2 clouds lingering, winds out of the south-southeast, the barometric pressure on the rise, the humidity at 84% this hour. Welcome back to Your Morning Winnipeg. Yes, what a gorgeous Friday we have ahead for us here in southern Manitoba. Not a lot to show you here on the satellite, folks, as we're going to be dealing with relatively clear skies throughout the day and the weekend. Bit of a different story to the north, as evidenced by this system here at the very corner of your screen. That is bringing a good chance of some rainfall off and on to northern Manitoba, low pressure system. It's going to likely take until later this afternoon to arrive in Thompson with those showers, while the rest of you likely to stay dry through the day, and then the rain comes overnight. Before then, 17 degrees in Thompson, 16 in Gillam, 13 in Churchill. Nice and warm in Island Lake at 18 under that mix of sun and cloud. The northwest are likely to get a drink of that rainfall quick and first, likely later on this afternoon. You'll deal with some sunshine to kick off the day. Temperatures in the mid-teens, a little bit warmer in Norway House at 19 degrees under those cloudier skies. Southwestern Manitoba, sunny skies, very hot though. Southerly winds at 30, gusting at times to 50 kilometers per hour throughout the day. So hang on to your hats, add some extra hairspray. 23 in Brandon, 22 in Neepawa, Dauphin at 22 as well, Swan River at 20. Meanwhile, us here in Winnipeg, a little bit more in the way of cloud coverage later on into the afternoon, as will be the case for much of this region. We also will be dealing with some strong southerly winds. Temperatures there in the low to mid 20 degree mark. Look at Morden hitting 25. Wow, that is incredible for nearly October. And northwestern Ontario, clearer skies than we're seeing here. Temperatures a little bit cooler, but still above seasonal. High teens for Red Lake, the rest of you cracking the 20 degree mark. From there, we do have a slight chance of getting some of those showers overnight. A low chance of it, about 30%, 8 degrees with potential for some fog. They'll break up nicely into Saturday with a high of 22 degrees, and then look at this high, 26 to close out the weekend with lots of sunshine to enjoy.
Thank you, Catherine. Let's go back now to Daniel Homerson, who's live at the Forks this morning. Nuit Blanche is tomorrow, and the Forks is a good place to get started if you want to check it out for yourself. Good morning.
Good morning, Rochelle. Absolutely. Over 100 events happening throughout the city, including some right here at the Forks. I'm joined now by Jenna Hariprasad, who's the events coordinator here. Good morning, Jenna.
Morning. How are you?
I'm great. Got some coffee, everything. Back inside, feeling a little warm. Now, tomorrow, here at the Forks, Nuit Blanche. Why is this space the perfect backdrop for a celebration of arts?
Yeah, so the Forks kind of has always fostered local artists, local community. Again, in this alleyway right here, we see some beautiful murals, so it's kind of a bit of the Forks and just extended.
And there's 4 outdoor installations here tomorrow night. Which one are you most excited about?
I'm a live music girly myself, so I definitely say Breakout West doing their partnership under the canopy will be amazing. But truly, you cannot go wrong with any of the installations we have.
And when I think the Forks, I think food and drink and sharing a meal with friends. What's on tap tomorrow night?
So on tap, of course, you can find some local amazing Manitoba beers, as well as wines from all across Canada.
And food-wise, I understand there's a couple special things happening.
So we're having Basta doing their first ever barbecue pop-up, as well as Clan Mothers, which is a local social enterprise in Winnipeg that's doing an Indigenous hot dog cart.
And if people haven't been down to the Forks for Nuit Blanche before, what should they know before they come down?
Yeah, well, definitely don't drive. We are doing Winnipeg free transit for the evening, as well as we have an amazing bike valet with Bike Winnipeg. So definitely don't drive, and just prepare to have an amazing evening with lots of food and drink and celebration.
Perfect. And there's things for the whole family. Of course, it's not just for adults. There's stuff for kids as well. Why is it important to make this an inclusive event for everyone?
Yeah, well, I definitely would say the one perk about having Nuit Blanche is the Forks that we are starting out programming earlier, again, to accommodate folks with young kids, things like that, who maybe might want to stay out later. I think it is important just to foster community space and make sure everybody can have fun.
Perfect. Well, it's all happening here at the Forks and throughout downtown Winnipeg tomorrow night, Nuit Blanche 2025.
Okay, thank you, Daniel. Well, it's no rumor. The world's finest Fleetwood Mac tribute band is coming to Winnipeg, and we want you to go. Rumors of Fleetwood Mac will hit the Burton Cummings Theatre stage on Saturday, October 18th, and you could be there. Your Morning Winnipeg is giving away a pair of tickets to the show. To enter, head to the contest page on our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and fill out the form. Good luck. Excitement is building for next year's World Cup, and now we're getting a look at the 3 official FIFA World Cup 26 mascots.
Good morning, Canada time.
Maple the Moose is Canada's official mascot for next year's World Cup. FIFA has come up with a whole backstory calling Maple, quote, a street-style loving artist, music enthusiast, and dedicated goalkeeper. Maple the Moose is joined by Zayu the Jaguar and Clutch the Bald Eagle, representing World Cup co-hosts Mexico and the U.S. Let's see who's celebrating a milestone today. Happy 10th birthday, Cassidy. Love your family, friends, Prince, and Axel. Happy 7th birthday, Cadence, from Mom, Dad, Olivia, and Dominic. Happy birthday, Justice. Love Mom, Twill, and family. Happy birthday to Elijah. Love your family. Happy 13th birthday, Kayla. Love Mom, Coco, Uncle, Sister, Brother, and baby Nova. Happy 15th birthday, Jersey. Love your family and friends. Happy birthday, Jason, from your family. Happy 19th birthday to Cadence from Mom, Dad, Gage, and Nia. Happy birthday, Samuel, with love from Mom, Dad, and Lily. Happy birthday, Mitch. Love from Oli and all your family and friends. Happy 93rd birthday to Jerry from Marlene, Diane, and Brian. Happy 80th birthday, Terry, from your family, kids, grandkids, great-grandkids, and friends. Happy 80th birthday to Wilbert. Love your kids, grandkids, and Buddy. Happy birthday to Crystal, with love from Tyson and Madison. Happy 9th birthday, Audrey. Love Mom, Dad, Nolan, and Aiden. Happy birthday, Olivia. Love Mom, Dad, Theo, and Luna. Happy 15th birthday, Aiden. Love Mom, Dad, Sheba, and Molly. Nice fish. Happy birthday, Mama Rana Lee, from Angel, Sam, Gab, and Beth. And a happy birthday to Yale. Love Mommy, Dad, and Big Sister Portia. To submit your milestone, visit our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and fill out the form at least 2 days in advance. It'll also enter you into our monthly contest for a chance to win a $100 gift certificate to Party Stuff.
Milestones is brought to you by Party Stuff. 3 Winnipeg locations and at partystuff.ca. Weather is brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. Same-day oil and tire changes.
What a gorgeous start to our Friday. Clear, sunny skies, and the temperature is really going to be picking up. 7 degrees here in Winnipeg. 1 or 2 clouds sort of lingering. Winds are out of the south-southeast, are going to be getting very blustery today. Spoiler alert. The barometric pressure is rising, the humidity at 84%. So very opposite forecast is what I'll say about what we've got going on in Manitoba today and this weekend. In the north, we are tracking a low pressure system that's likely to spread some rainfall to the northwest starting late this afternoon, and then fanning out all across the north overnight. 5 to 10 millimeters worth could be falling off and on throughout tonight into tomorrow. Should taper off tomorrow, and then leaving behind a good amount of clouds for the rest of the weekend. Temperatures will be decent in the mid to upper teens. That's above seasonal. For us here in the south, totally different story. Lots of sunshine, very strong southerly winds at 30, gusting at times to 50 kilometers per hour. Some clouds a little later on the afternoon, but highs well above seasonal. 22 is what we're looking at here in Winnipeg. 15 is what's typical. Overnight, temperatures dipping down to about 8 degrees. Slight chance of some rain from that low pressure system. For the most part, though, very good chance we're just going to stay dry. Excuse me. Tomorrow, we could kick off with a little bit of fog. That'll clear off nicely with temperatures rising even higher. Let me consult my notes here. I was right, 22 degrees tomorrow, so even warmer than what we're seeing today.
Thank you, Catherine. A strike-bound Canada Post means the Postal Service is shut down. The Canadian Union of Postal Workers declared a nationwide strike last night, just hours after Ottawa announced sweeping changes aimed at shoring up Canada Post finances in response to a decline in letter mail and the Crown Corporation's small share of the parcel market. Joining us now to tell us more about this development and what it means to the future of Canada Post is U of M Labor Studies Assistant Professor Adam King. Good morning, Adam.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us. Now, first of all, before we get to details of the strike, let's talk about some of the changes announced yesterday by the federal government. What were they and what does it mean?
Well, they were pretty significant. They are announcing an end to home delivery for the remaining 4 million or so households who receive it, lifting the moratorium on closing rural post offices, and a range of other changes that the union was not expecting at all. They indicated that they had no prior warning that these changes were coming. Right in the middle of negotiations, it's been now over a month since they tabled their last offer to management. So this was a huge shock for the union.
Now, why is the government bringing these kinds of changes in play?
Well, essentially what the government is doing is they're adopting the recommendations that came out of the report from the Industrial Inquiry Commission that was convened in May when the strike was convened when the strike was ended last December, it was. So that report made a series of recommendations that were mostly in line with what Canada Post management wanted and the union was opposed to, of course. And now essentially what's happened is the government has adopted those recommendations.
So what does that mean for contract talks, negotiations?
Well, this was a very provocative move to make this announcement yesterday. As I said, the union had tabled an offer to Canada Post on August 20th and had heard nothing in response. And so we had weeks of silence from Canada Post management, and now that makes more sense if they had some indication that this type of an announcement was coming. But really what the government has done is really they've handed all the leverage back to Canada Post in these negotiations. The union is in a very tough position now, and so it's no surprise that they called a nationwide strike. In some ways, this was their only option.
Now, we do know that Canada Post is losing a lot of money. We know that since 2018, there have been $5 billion in losses. The feds are saying this is necessary. These changes are the only way to keep this company going. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, this is up for debate. I mean, there have been a range of proposals from both sides for how to fix the financial situation at Canada Post. And for example, during that commission, the union presented a range of other options that would protect good jobs and keep Canada Post viable, to improve, open new revenue streams, to open postal banking, other options besides these kinds of cuts and service reductions, which in the long run will inevitably mean job losses. And so I think what's happened here really is that the government has sided with management on those questions, and it makes for a very difficult situation for Canada Post workers, and it's why you see picket lines up this morning.
And those picket lines, will it just make the situation harder, worse for them?
Well, I mean, in some ways they're backed into a corner, and I think escalation at this point was the only option. They've had an overtime ban in place, and then they moved to a flyer ban. These actions didn't seem to sway management in any way, and so I think we were headed towards escalation probably anyways. But with yesterday's announcement, it was all but inevitable.
What do you think the future of Canada Post looks like at this point?
Well, right now it looks pretty dire, because I think if the government follows through on those recommendations, as I said, this will mean job losses in the long run, and it means service reductions. And for many Canadians, especially in rural parts of the country, this could mean significant changes. Those who already rely on community mailboxes often express challenges accessing them, hours restrictions, mobility issues, range of problems. And so I think big changes are coming here. And what you're seeing is the union trying to fight back and preserve those services for Canadians.
Adam, thank you so much for your time today. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hello there, Kara Wagland inside the Sports Center newsroom with your must-see moment from Wednesday, and it comes from the end of the Red Sox-Blue Jays game. Bottom 9, Jays down 7-1 with 2 away. Alejandro Kirk hits one to right field. Willie Abreu comes up throwing, gets Kirky easily to end the game. Kirk, not known for being the fastest runner. That is a tough way to end things on a 9-3 putout. Toronto has scored 1 run or fewer in 6 of their last 7 games. Their division lead is gone. That is your must-see moment. And coming up tonight on TSN, it is Thursday Night Football between the Seahawks and the Cardinals. Seattle has won 7 straight meetings, 5 of those by double digits. Kickoff for that game goes at 8:15 Eastern, 7:15 Central Time. That's all for now from SportsCenter. Have a great day.
The TSN Must-See Moment is brought to you by Super Blinds and Draperies, featuring Hunter Douglas products.
It's Friday, September 26th. Ambulance delayed. What a 93-year-old man experienced after a fall led to a broken hip and a long wait. Talking trade in London, the Prime Minister sits down for a third one-on-one to discuss economic cooperation with his UK counterpart. And grilling for Guinness. A South African group gathers for what could be a record-breaking barbecue event. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning, Manitoba. Thank you so much for staying with us here on Your Morning Winnipeg. Happy Friday to you. We have a lot in the next hour for you, including Sunday is World Rabies Day, and the Winnipeg Humane Society has partnered up with an organization to provide free vaccines to cats and dogs on Sunday. We're going to tell you details about that. But first, the weekend is just going to be amazing.
Yeah, the animals are going to love it. Get them outside, take them for a lovely walk, because wow, Mother Nature has been serving up very unfall-like temperatures. Yep. So if you love fall, this is really not quintessentially it. It's going to feel more, dare I say, like August out there this weekend. Right now, though, it is still a little bit brisk. 7 degrees, 1 or 2 clouds lingering. Winds are out of the south-southeast at 17 clicks. The barometric pressure is rising and the humidity sitting at 84% this hour. So much sunshine on the way to the south. Different story to the north. A good amount of cloud coverage is being picked up on our radar there, particularly around the Nipawin, Flin Flon region, pushing in there from the west. Also pushing in from the west, this low pressure system that's likely going to be bringing a bit of a rainy day and weekend ahead to northern Manitoba. As the day progresses, you start to arrive at our doorstep there to the northwest late afternoon. Rainfall should begin then. At first, you're going to get some sun and cloud. That's the good news. Then as the evening progresses, it starts to intensify and it'll fan out overnight to engulf most of northern Manitoba. About 5 to 10 millimeters could fall. For us here in the south, not a lot to tell you about. It's going to be sunny, maybe a little bit of cloud coverage coverage at the end of the day. We kick it off tomorrow, potentially with some fog that does not pick up on our futurecast. Otherwise, nice and clear and sunny, and that's kind of the name of the game for us here in southern Manitoba. Clear skies and above seasonal temperatures. Just how hot are we going to be getting? For us here in Winnipeg, we're looking at a high of 21 degrees today. 15 is what's typical. We have a slight chance of some showers overnight, and tomorrow for those Bomber fans, beautiful day of 22 degrees with lots of sunshine to enjoy. Make sure you wear the SPF and drink lots of water, because it's going to be a surprising hot day for September, nearly October. Sunday is even warmer, if you can believe it, 26 degrees. We kick off next week with a little bit more in the way of cloud coverage, but a very hot high of 25 degrees. Your weather art of the day, Shiley loves fall, I would guess, by this lovely picture. It's not feeling terribly fall-like, but wow, this picture is really great. Shiley, thanks so much for sending it in. She heard our call because we're running low on these submissions. So please, kids in your life, we would love to see parents and caregivers, please send your kids-themed weather-themed artwork from your kids. There's a word salad for you. We were going to be showing one every day here on CTV on Your Morning Winnipeg, and you can send those by email to winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
More questions and concerns about the reliability of ambulance care in our city. This comes after a 93-year-old Winnipeg man fell and broke his hip on the front lawn of his home.
He was on his lawn for 6 hours. 6 long, devastating, painful hours before an ambulance attended.
93-year-old Alan Krause fell and broke his hip Wednesday. 911 told his family there would be a 3-hour wait, which stretched into 6 hours. The union representing paramedics says 6-hour waits should never happen. But Kyle Ross says right now there aren't enough workers to get to everyone quickly.
The service is stretched so thin, and there's not enough paramedics, and these incidents will unfortunately continue to happen if we don't find a way to get people to take up this profession.
We're told Alan Krause is in hospital, and the family is still waiting to find out exactly how he will be treated. A statement to CTV News Winnipeg from Winnipeg Fire Paramedic Services says, in part, it cannot speak to specific medical incidents, saying WFPS triages medical calls using the medical priority dispatch system. Once the call taker provides information, the call is classified and sorted for dispatch. It also says, quote, "We have seen an increase in the number of calls we receive year over year. While we do our best to get help to residents who need us, sometimes some patients may wait longer than others." Prime Minister Mark Carney is in London this morning to talk trade.
That shows the strength of the relationship between our two countries, but also the strength of our personal relationships.
Carney sat down with UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer earlier this morning. It's Carney's second official visit to the UK and his third one-on-one with Starmer since becoming PM last March. Aside from talking trade, Carney and Starmer also exchanged rugby shirts ahead of the Rugby World Cup final between Canada and England tomorrow. Guinness officials are now working to determine if 2,500 people in Pretoria have broken a grilling world record.
Pride to me means being together, sharing special moments. We are doing it internationally today. Are you ready for us to break the record? The world's biggest braai.
Braai is a traditional South African barbecue. The goal was to set the record for the most people all grilling at once in the same place. In honor of South Africa's Heritage Day, they took a crack at the record of 2,220 set in Japan in 2023. Here's a look now at the current traffic situation around St. James Bridge. Look at this. It looks like things are pretty smooth over here and traffic moving quite well. If you see any problems out on the streets, though, please let us know. 10400 to text us.
Traffic is brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. No appointment needed.
Learning about the Coaching Awards today, I am joined by Susan Lambu at Sport Manitoba. Let's talk about the Coaching Awards. What are they all about?
Well, they are an annual time to say thanks to some coaches out there. Coaches put in an incredible amount of time and dedicate so much effort and knowledge into the sport system and coaching athletes, so we want to say thank you to them.
Okay, and that's not an easy job for any parent on the sideline. We've witnessed what the coaches have to go through. So what a wonderful way to kind of recognize them a little bit. Let's talk about some of the benefits then to coaches, maybe for being recognized, or even the broader sport community.
Well, these coaching awards are kind of unique, so we want to make sure that we recognize coaches at all levels. So even the fundamentals and active start, for those coaches that are really just teaching the fundamentals of sport and how to have fun, all the way up to the high performance and Olympic level. We have awards for every single one of those coaches because they are unique and experts within their own levels.
I love that, because we do need to recognize them at all levels, because nobody gets to the elite level without having started somewhere. And sometimes it's that mentorship that kids get at the younger level that really sets them up for success all the way through. So I'm glad that you recognize the coaching all the way through. The benefits then to the broader sport community, let's talk about that.
Well, when kind of someone is nominated or wins one of these awards, it truly takes, there's always that thing of, it takes community. And it's very true within coaching as well. So many people support coaches within their journey. And once a coach wins one of those awards, it actually says a lot about that community as well and the athletes that they're coaching, because they are there pumping up those athletes, pumping up the community, and everyone is supporting one another. It is incredible.
And it really talks about that, you know, the building of a team, right? And how you said, it takes a whole community, but you see that ripple through every element and every branch of that community. So if somebody is like, I have the best coach and I want to nominate them, how do people go about doing this?
It's pretty easy. You just go to our website, Sport Manitoba, and Coaching Awards, and you nominate them. It's just kind of one form. There's a few questions that you need to answer. Or you can contact us at Sport Manitoba Coaching. Absolutely, we're here to help with any questions that you might have. And please, you know, we'd love to recognize those incredible coaches out there that are not often recognized.
They deserve that recognition and a little bit of, you know, validation that they're on the right track and doing great work. Any last things that you want to say to folks at home?
Yes, just again, please recognize your coaches. You can even do it on social media if you want to. Just a little like, hey, thanks, coach. This is my favorite coach. Thanks for doing everything that you're doing. Or kind of go to that longer Coaching Awards nomination, and we'd love to recognize them.
All right. Everybody loves the little pat on the back, so give one to your coach. Check them out online. Thanks so much, Susan.
Thanks.
This report is brought to you by Sport Manitoba, growing sport, wellness, and community.
Let's go back now to Daniel Homerson, who's talking about Nuit Blanche. And Nuit Blanche and Culture Days are really partners this month. Good morning.
Good morning, Rochelle. Good morning, Manitoba. We've been talking about Nuit Blanche, of course, happening tomorrow night throughout all of downtown Winnipeg, including the Forks here. We heard from the folks at the Canadian Museum for Human Rights as well. I'm joined once again, though, by Nuit Blanche General Manager Kurt Tittlemeyer. Good morning, Kurt.
Good morning.
We've talked the Forks, we've talked the Human Rights Museum. What's happening in the Exchange District tomorrow night?
Well, in the Exchange District, we have over 50 events, and one of our featured projects there is called Flux. It's an installation from Poland that's traveling here. It's a 7-meter higher structure with interactive installation. And we have also a broadcast with CBC. CBC's After Dark host, Odario Williams, will be recording his show for the national broadcast, and he'll be playing a DJ set right on Arthur Street.
And Central Park also has an installation this year for the second year. That's pretty cool. Tell me about that one.
That's great. It's put on by the West End Biz, a participatory event, and this is all connected with our free transit as well.
And Nuit Blanche is part of the broader Culture Days Manitoba. Tell us a little bit about that.
So Culture Days is actually province-wide. Many people know us just for Nuit Blanche, but we have 335 events across the province during Culture Days. And I'd like to give a shout out to all of our rural hubs who put on fantastic events every year. There's actually a Nuit Blanche on Gimli happening today. So it's not just Winnipeg, it's the whole province really steps up to show off the artists in this community, in this province.
And you're expecting tens of thousands of people tomorrow night. If someone hasn't experienced Nuit Blanche before, what should they know before they head out?
I think the best way to get all your information, and there is a lot, is to go to our website, nuitblanchewinnipeg.ca, and hit the map tile. So on the map tile, we have 4 different maps that discuss where all the events are. There's also information how to download our app, which is a great way to get all the info to take in the evening.
Wonderful. And we heard earlier, They encourage, don't drive down, take transit. There's actually free shuttles going between the different spots here in downtown Winnipeg, and bike valet at the Forks, and plenty more. We'll have more coming up on Nuit Blanche 2025, just about half an hour.
The Bathfitter Live Eye is brought to you by Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years.
A sunny and lovely start to your Friday here in Winnipeg. 8 degrees out there, clear skies. Winds out of the south-southeast at 15 kilometers per hour, pressure rising, and the humidity sits at 80%. Also, not a bad idea to walk to Nuit Blanche. We're going to have such beautiful conditions that a stroll could be just what Mother Nature ordered. Currently, we are sitting at 7 degrees in Morden and Winkler, 4 in Portage La Prairie and Gimli. A little bit warmer over in Roblin at 11 degrees, Swan River at 5 degrees this hour. To the north, similar temperatures to what we're experiencing here in the south. Churchill a little bit sluggish, as is Gillam, with 4 degrees and 2 degrees respectively, although the Paw and Flin Flon already at the double digits. We're going to be dealing with a good amount of sunshine today, maybe a little bit of cloud coverage later on today, but some clouds to kick off the day in the north, and you can see the system rolling in there. That's a low pressure system bringing rainfall expected later on today to the northwest, and then fanning out all across northern Manitoba over tonight. 5 to 10 millimeters worth could be falling. Not the case with the kids heading to school here in Winnipeg. You don't need to pack the umbrella with them. 11 degrees as they begin class under those sunny skies. It's going to heat up to 17 by lunch hour. On the way home, a couple clouds could be joining them. 21 degrees, and that is also our high for today. Considering 15 is what's seasonal, we are doing very well in terms of our temperatures. A low chance of some showers associated with that low pressure system overnight. Likely we're to stay dry. And into tomorrow, it's looking hot, sunny, lovely. 22 degrees under those clear skies. Sunday, if you can believe it, we are getting even hotter at 26. Alrighty, we're going to take a break here on Your Morning Winnipeg, but stay with us. So much more is still to come.
Your morning just got a whole lot richer. We're giving away a staggering $20,000. Imagine what you could do with an extra 20 grand. A dream vacation, maybe? Home renovations, paying off some bills. The possibilities are endless. Today's code word is cash. Head to the contest page on ctvwinnipeg.ca or scan the QR code on your screen. Enter the code word cash with your info for your chance to win CTV Your Morning Winnipeg's $20,000 giveaway. Tune in Monday for another code word. Good luck. Excitement is building for next year's World Cup, and now we're getting a look at the 3 official FIFA World Cup 26 mascots.
Good morning, Canada time.
Maple the Moose is Canada's official mascot for next year's World Cup. FIFA has come up with a whole backstory, calling Maple, quote, a street-style loving artist, music enthusiast, and dedicated goalkeeper. Maple the Moose is joined by Zayu the Jaguar and Clutch the Bald Eagle, representing World Cup co-hosts Mexico and the U.S. Rabies can be deadly, and it's preventable with a simple vaccine. Sunday is World Rabies Day, and the Winnipeg Humane Society has partnered with Veterinarians Without Borders to offer free rabies vaccines. Joining us now is the Director of Veterinary Clinic and One Health at the Winnipeg Humane Society, Crystal Pariso. Good morning, Crystal.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. Now, for those people out there who might not know what rabies is exactly, how do animals get infected, and what does it do to them?
So this is a virus that you get infected through a bite, through the saliva. So it goes into the bloodstream, travels to the brain, and that's where you see those like classic neurological symptoms. You think of Cujo, drooling, kind of looking off into space. It is very contagious if you're bit. It can travel from animals to humans, so it is a zoonotic disease, and it's something that's definitely prevented with a vaccine.
And it's very common in which animals? Which ones are the usual ones that spread this?
So the ones that we see most commonly would be bats for sure, skunks, sometimes foxes, but basically if you even touch a bat, you should probably check with a healthcare provider after that. Because their teeth are so small, you might not even realize you've been bitten. Correct. And you want to tackle this before it's too late, right? Yeah, yeah. The earliest intervention is the best chance of survival. Because it'll kill you. Yes, it will. It'll kill your pets. Correct. Okay, so there are ways to prevent this. It's very easy to prevent this. It's a simple vaccine. Tell us a little bit what the vaccine is about and why it's so easy. So It's just when your animal is about 3 to 4 months old, you want to get that first set of vaccines. It's just one poke for the rabies vaccine, and then in a year you'll booster it one more time, and then after that it's just a yearly or every 3 years vaccine depending on which brand you have.
So are there lots of animals out there that have never been vaccinated for rabies?
There are, and especially in, you know, our remote, underserved communities, there's a lot of barriers for accessible veterinary care, so it is difficult to get everybody vaccinated, and that's why we have our One Health program that travels to remote, Indigenous, and underserved communities, and that's why we're putting on this event on Sunday as well.
Okay, so this event is sort of a partnership. How did this partnership happen with Veterinarians Without Borders?
So we work with them semi-frequently on things, like we're all kind of, our aim is kind of the same, right? To provide this accessible vet care to the communities that need it, to vaccinate as many animals as we can, to provide spay and neuter services, things like that. So we really kind of cross over and work together well.
Often they go up north and try to tackle the communities right on site as well, right?
Yeah, you bet.
Okay, so Sunday you're providing free vaccines for World Rabies Day.
Yeah.
Tell us what's happening and where.
So this will be at the Valor Community Center from 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. There's no appointment. It's just first come, first serve. It was very busy last year, so you might even want to bring a lawn chair.
Oh my.
Yeah.
And some sunscreen, because it's going to be hot. So last year you had 326 animals get vaccinated. There was a lineup out the door. It was hours of waiting.
Yes.
You're warning people that could happen again this year, but it is free, and that's a really good incentive.
Yep, exactly. And we'll vaccinate for rabies, and we'll also do other core vaccines that protect against things like parvovirus, distemper, panleukopenia, and other upper respiratory infections with kitties.
It's a win-win for everybody involved.
It is, and that's the One Health model, is just this whole interconnectedness, right? It's animals, people, and the environment. And when you support and take care of one, then everybody benefits.
Right, and this is happening again from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Valor Community Center. If you want more information, we have a link on our website. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Certainly is a lovely end to the work week and setting a good omen, if you will, for the weekend to come. It's just going to be lovely. 8 degrees here, nice, sunny and bright. Winds are out of the south-southeast. They will be getting a little bit more fast and furious. I'll have some more details on that in a moment. The barometric pressure on the rise, humidity at 80%. So southern Manitoba, lots of sunshine, gusty as mentioned. Those southerly winds will be ramping up at 30 to 50 kilometers per hour, particularly later on this afternoon. Much of us, the southern Manitoba that is, will be dealing with highs in the low 20-degree mark. For us here in Winnipeg, 21 degrees. That's above seasonal by a good margin. 15 is what's typical. To the north, however, different story. Mix of sun and cloud for the northwest, but then this low pressure system that's encroaching is bringing a very strong chance of some rainfall to your region late this afternoon, latest earlier tonight. That's likely to spread out over all of northern Manitoba, bringing a rainy evening and Saturday ahead. About 5 to 10 millimeters worth could be coming. And at the back end of it, lots of clouds on Sunday. For us here in southern Manitoba, totally different story. The above seasonal values will continue tomorrow. 22 for us here in Winnipeg under that hot sunshine. Even hotter on Sunday, if you can believe it. We're looking at a high of 25 degrees under, you guessed it, clear sunny skies. Your Skywatch picture of the day, Beverly and Renee are certainly loving the fall sights. They snapped this lovely photo in Saint-Rose-de-Lac. Thank you so much for submitting, and keep your weather pictures coming to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
Welcoming back a familiar face, beauty and lifestyle expert, Natalie Sexton, joining us this morning. Natalie, happy fall.
Happy fall. I know. I love this time of year. I think it's my favorite season.
Me too. I love it. I love the crispness of the air. But with that change of the air and the seasons, we often have to switch up our beauty routine, right? We have different needs as we're moving into the fall.
Sure. Absolutely. And I think I really have you covered from head to toe today. So let's start off with skincare. Every season, I think it's important to swap out a few products, right, and try something new. So here's a really great one from iconic brand Olay. It's their micro sculpting cream. So it's a moisturizer that you want to use in your day routine and your evening routine. You're going to see visible results in 28 days, which is just awesome. It has really amazing ingredients in here like antioxidants, peptides, hyaluronic acid. So it's going to strengthen your skin barrier, improve elasticity, and I love that it's a non-invasive alternative to cosmetic procedures as well. At an amazing price point, you're going to find this one at Walmart. It feels beautiful on the skin and it smells fantastic.
All right. Well, Natalie, you are always so radiant, so I'm happy to take your recommendations. What else do you do to get that kind of glow?
Yes, so I'm going to share like my morning and night routine from Nature Sunshine Canada. You'll find them at naturesunshine.ca. So I always start my morning with their marine collagen. It comes in these really handy little packets. There's no flavor whatsoever, so we can add this to our water, to our tea, to our smoothies. So even saying marine collagen, I know people sometimes think like, is this going to be fishy? It's not. Okay. It's made with this, It's made with sustainably sourced wild Alaskan pollock, but also has biotin, vitamin C. So amazing for your hair, for your skin, for your joints. And I always end my day with the magnesium complex. Okay, so we're going to take one of those. It's going to help you get a beautiful sleep, but you're not going to wake up fatigued. It's also great for joint health and brain health as well. So these are definitely ones you want to get in your daily mix.
All right, I am all about a good sleep. I'm also about waking up without the fatigue, but I don't know if my 3 a.m. alarm has more to do with that than my supplements. Anyway, moving on, Natalie, let's talk about hair, because I have always had such incredible hair envy of you. What do you use?
Oh, thank you. Okay, well, let's start off with, this is going to be my hashtag big hair don't care.
Yes.
So I'm sharing from Mark Anthony their big volume collection. But what I really wanted to highlight is their weightless lift root boost spray. So you're going to find this for under $15 at places like Amazon, Walmart, Shoppers Drug Mart. You can use it on wet or dry hair, which is awesome. You're going to get up to 72 hours of full, beautiful hair and shine. Okay, and we can also use it with heat up to 450 degrees, which I know I'm always using curling iron, blow dry or straightener, right? So nice and safe for your hair. And then also from Mark Anthony, I have their Repair Blonde Plus Rescue Plex collection, but I'm highlighting their Purple Color Care shampoo and conditioner. So this is great for blondes. I have a lot of blonde in my hair that can get brassy, so I use this a couple of times a week. So you're essentially getting a salon treatment for like a fraction of the price. Really beautiful shine. They have a really great collection here as well, Terry. It's infused with violet pigments and their Rescue Plex complex, which essentially strengthens the hair from the inside out.
Nice. Love that. I'm all about the big hair. Get me some of that. I want to have no cares anymore. Natalie, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Terry.
Your Morning Winnipeg. Coffee is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
What a gorgeous start to your Friday. We're feeling good with that 8 degrees and lots of sunshine. Winds are out of the south-southeast, fairly light this hour. Pressure's on the rise, humidity at 80%. Wow, has Mother Nature been wowing, if you will, with those conditions. Above seasonal values, so much sunshine, and we are just on an upward trajectory into the weekend. In southern Manitoba, the north, a bit of a different story. You can see there's a good amount of cloud coverage to kick off your day, and we have this encroaching system here as we bounce over. This is a low pressure system that's creating, as you can see, a good amount of rainfall. It's tracking currently into Saskatchewan, and it'll be moving into our neck of the woods a little later on. The northwest will get some rain later on this afternoon, and it'll spread out all across northern Manitoba tonight. Not for us here in the south, not to gloat too much, because we have a gorgeous day ahead. 21 degrees, some increase in cloudiness to the late afternoon, but just 1 or 2 clouds here or there. Winds very strong out of the south at 30, gusting at times to 50 kilometers per hour. Into tonight, likely those skies will stay partly cloudy. There's a low chance that we could get a taste of that system and get a little bit of rain. Likely, though, we're staying dry with an overnight low of 8 degrees, and those winds shifting out of the northwest at 20 to 40 kilometers per hour. They ease off into tomorrow out of the west at 20 kilometers per hour, and we get even warmer, 22 degrees under those clear sunny skies. If you can believe it, hotter temperatures in store for us this weekend. 26, on Sunday. 16 is shortchanging us. 11 overnight, and Monday, not too shabby, a mix of sun and cloud with a very hot, unseasonable high of 25 degrees.
Thank you, Catherine. Substance users in Manitoba could soon be held in detox for multiple days. Right now, intoxicated people taken into custody to sober up are only required to stay for a maximum of 24 hours. Premier Wab Kinew says changes to the law are coming, which could increase the length of stay.
But most importantly, it's based on what we've been hearing from you, who are fed up with seeing people having a fist fight with themselves on Main Street.
Premier Wamkanu says it's time to detain people high on drugs like meth for longer periods of time. Right now, under the Intoxicated Persons Detention Act, when someone is taken into custody for detox by police, they can be kept for up to 24 hours. The Premier says new legislation is coming that would increase the number of days someone could be held. Kanu says this would require a secure facility, which he says should be up and running in November.
The person who's high on meth, we're going to put them in a secure facility instead of the Health Sciences Center emergency room. But while they're there, there's going to be different modes of treatment made available to them.
The legislature resumes sitting next week, and the Premier would like to see the bill in law by November. CTV News asked the Premier if the maximum number of days in custody will be raised to 2 or 3 days. He replied, "We were in the right ballpark." The federal government is planning cost-cutting measures that will drastically change how Canada Post serves the country.
But I want to be clear. Canada Post has an obligation to serve all Canadians in every community in Canada, and that will not change.
Changes include slower processing times, shutting down some post offices, and ending door-to-door delivery. Postal workers responded to the changes by declaring a nationwide strike. Canada Post says no new mail or parcels will be accepted during this disruption. The Crown Corporation first welcomed the changes, but it hasn't commented since workers declared the strike. Hyundai is now recalling nearly 44,000 SUVs in this country over a problem with seat belts. Hyundai Palisades with the model years of 2020 to 2025 are affected. The recall announcement says some seatbelt buckles in the driver's, front passenger, and second row seats, quote, may not have been manufactured properly, meaning they may not latch properly. Hyundai says owners of the impacted vehicles will be notified and advised to take their SUVs to a dealership. Alberta is officially home to the tallest steer on the planet. A Holstein from Vulcan is the record holder according to Guinness World Records, and he's even grown another 1.5 inches since he was measured for the record in 2023. CTV's Alicia Fieldberg has more.
The big boy in the big city.
His name is Beef, and the towering Holstein is among skyscrapers for the first time. This pair from Vulcan came to Calgary to celebrate a mega moment, winning the Guinness World Record for tallest steer.
It's a pretty surreal feeling to know that my picture is in this book.
Jasmine Entz never intended to go for a record, but was a fan of the books growing up, and a few years ago wondered how her pet might stack up with the competition.
When the record was measured in 2023, he stood 6'5".
She works at a dairy and wanted a calf as a pet. When she picked him at birth, he was regular sized, but as a neutered male, he grew a lot in 8 years. Right now, Beef is the tallest living steer on the planet, but he's still growing and he's on track to break another record.
There was one in Italy that was 6'8", and so that's the tallest ever recorded. Now he's 1.5 inches off of that. So.
He lives on a hobby farm with a Holstein cow and miniature goats.
He doesn't have a mean bone in his body. He gets along with everything.
She was once able to ride him, but he's grown too big for his saddle and too tall for his owner.
I'm not brave enough to get up that high. I don't like heights.
To feed the gentle giant, she has to fork out about $400 a month for a minivan-sized salad of alfalfa, but it's worth it.
His size coupled with his personality, and it's something to really admire.
She hopes she and Beef send a message about how much care goes into livestock, even the ones that aren't pets.
You know, the love that I have for him is the same love that goes into all of our milk cows on the dairy. It's a way of life, and it's a very important way of life.
Alicia Fieldberg, CTV News, Calgary.
Here's a look at what's happening now on Donald Street. Things appear to have picked up over here, but overall it looks like a smooth drive. We have no issues to tell you about here. If you see problems, let us know. Please text them to us at 10400. And here's a look at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.36. The provincial average is lower at $1.29. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.28. And the lowest price in the city is $1.22. All this info is on gasbuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your card today.
For our cue of the day, we wanted to know what's your favorite fall event. Susan says her favorite is Halloween. That's a very good time. Yes, thank you. Marlene says fall picnics and nature drives are my fall event, and she still enjoys walking on crisp leaves. Thank you for that. Jim says that his is leaving for Texas for 6 months. Thank you so much for your responses. Let's go back now to Daniel Halmerson. We've been talking about Nuit Blanche, which is happening tomorrow. It's a huge event. It's so much fun. Tell us more.
Well, I'm joined now by Rayanna, who's the artistic director for Hyper Art. It's the St. Boniface portion of Nuit Blanche happening at the Franco-Manitoban Cultural Centre tomorrow night. Good morning.
Good morning.
You must be getting excited. What's on tap in St. Boniface tomorrow?
I am excited. The artists have started arriving, and so things are really shaping up at the St. Boniface campus. We have a slew of artists that will be performing, whether it's digital art, whether it's music. That can be ambient, it can be more dynamic shows. We have dance, we have drag, and a huge number of artists that are collaborating together to make it happen.
So many different art mediums. Why is it important to share that kind of broad look at art in St. Boniface?
Well, this project is led by artists, so we did what we love, and personally I really enjoy getting to work with different mediums. I find that it pushes me to create new things, and then to see the public engage with it and to see them get to kind of make the site their own and discover all the different things that are going on and choose their own adventure. I find it really very inspiring.
And as an artist, what does Nuit Blanche mean to you?
Well, I view it more and more as an opportunity to try things and to push the limits of your practice a little bit. So it's a chance. I think everyone on that night is ready to see new things and ready to try new things, and so that's the ethos that we bring to it.
And finally, what do you hope people take away from visiting Hyper Art tomorrow night?
Well, we hope that people really feel like they're coming into a different realm where everything sort of fits together but is its own thing. So I hope people will find a corner that they really love and that they remember for a long time ahead.
Wonderful. Well, Nuit Blanche is happening here downtown at the Forks, across the river in St. Boniface, the Exchange District, and more. Tomorrow night, you can find more information online about the over 100 events happening right here in Winnipeg, Rochelle.
Such a great event for the entire family to enjoy. Thank you, Daniel. Have a good weekend. Let's go out to the rooftop now. It's going to be a good one to be outside this weekend.
No kidding. Great one to be outside and enjoying. If you're headed out to Nuit Blanche, Mother Nature is going to be painting a masterpiece, if you will, in terms of those conditions. It's currently 8 degrees, nice and clear. Winds are out of the south-southeast at 15 kilometers per hour. Pressure rising, humidity at 80%. So yes, if you've been loving what Mother Nature has been giving us this week, you are really going to love what she's got in store for the weekend. Today, it's going to be sunny, warm. 21 degrees is what we're looking at here in Winnipeg, a good 6 degrees above what's typical. Much of southern Manitoba, in fact, is going to be in the low 20s. The winds, though, might be a bit of a spoiler if you don't enjoy the gusts. They'll be out of the south at 30 to 50 kilometers per hour, pretty strong. Meanwhile, we do have a chance of some light cloud coverage, but that's kind of it. The weekend is looking sunny and gorgeous with temperatures into the mid-20s. Northern Manitoba, a bit of a different story to tell you, unfortunately. A low pressure system is likely bringing rainfall to the northwest late this afternoon, spreading out over the entire northern region overnight, bringing about 5 to 10 millimeters worth. So grab those umbrellas and keep them handy. Alrighty, we're going to take a break, pay some bills here on Your Morning Winnipeg, but stay with us. We've got so much more still to come.
Weather is brought to you by Blinds Are Beautiful. Our new Hunter Douglas showroom is at 900 Lorimer.
Have a news tip? When you see news happening, let CTV News Winnipeg know. Text your tips, pictures, and videos to 10400. That's 10400. Message and data rates may apply.
Good morning. A 100th birthday is a huge celebration, and everyone after even bigger. So how about turning 107 years old? An Ontario woman did just that Thursday, surrounded by loved ones. CTV's Natalie Van Roy reports.
For 107-year-old Marion Anderson, this special birthday feels like any other day.
I hadn't planned such a tremendous crowd to be here. I thought we'd just get through it like every other day.
Anderson, born in September 1918.
Starting to grow up there.
A mother of 3 boys, she raised her family in the nation's capital.
Just growing up and having friends and having fun eventually marrying somebody that lived with me for almost 70 years.
And there's a reason she doesn't look her age.
You don't put soap on your face. It makes wrinkles.
I think, like she said, you know, maybe just living a simple life, not getting too ahead of yourself, a little sherry every day.
Anderson has lived through moments of history.
Remember the wars. One finished and then another one started. And I was quite able to understand everything about the Second World War, because I was a young woman then, a teenager.
Throughout her life, Anderson loved camping, traveling, working as a hairdresser, and spending time with her family. She was a talented quilt maker and in the 90s won Best Quilt of the Show at the Carp Fair.
It was a little bit above special. Oh no, I made literally hundreds of quilts, and I made for the babies at the hospital.
Good years of health and happiness. Signed, Mark Sutcliffe and David.
For her, the greatest gift, to be surrounded by her loved ones on her special day. Natalie Van Roy, CTV News.
That's musician R.O.Z, who opened for DeVito in Toronto in July. DeVito is one of the top Afrobeat artists around the world. R.O.Z moved to Winnipeg when he was 18 years old, and with support from local musicians, began the Winnipeg-based music label EMB. EMB is celebrating its 15th anniversary this year. Joining us now is R.O.Z. Good morning, R.O.Z.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Take us back to 15 years ago. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
How did this all start for you?
It was just a dream coming up in Winnipeg. I came here, I was going to U of M, and I was just looking at the scene, and it was looking amazing. So I was like, you know what, I got to take part in this, because I had a music background, but I wasn't looking to do music in Winnipeg. But
so music was always part of your sort of growing up, and you were always influenced by music.
Yes, for sure.
And so then, how did you start this label?
Oh, well, we started it in Winnipeg. A few of my friends, we have producers, songwriters, people in the background. So like we started like that, more just as a dream kind of thing. So it was just me and Two Epic, a producer and artist. And then we kept like going in Winnipeg. We had a core audience, and then like it just kind of like flourished into more of a business, more of a label. And we started signing artists.
And now you're in Toronto.
Yeah.
And when you look back on those 15 years, tell us a little bit about some of the musicians you represented over that time and how mind-boggling that is to you where you are right now.
Yeah, it's crazy. All this time, like when you look back, it's like, wow, just to see all the music we produce and like the artists we've run by. I was even telling you earlier that we met Davido in 2012 over here.
Yeah.
So much things has flourished from that, as far as like networking, going on tour, meeting artists, getting artists to kind of acquire on our label. So
what kind of musicians do you represent?
Hip hop, R&B, Afro music. Afro is kind of like the new thing coming up right now. But yeah, it's really all good music, really. You know what I mean? Just a bunch of talent. So.
And so you're celebrating 15 years with a big party at the Park Theatre, which coincidentally is also celebrating its 20th anniversary.
Yeah.
So what do you want people to know about your new album?
It's really a representation of our 15-year. It's really, our core is Winnipeg, you know, because like 15-year really matters in Winnipeg because it started here, you know. So really, we're just kind of, it's more of a like a collaboration of all our producers, songwriters, artists, and put it in one project, so you can like, kind of hear the fullness of the label, the movement, you know, that kind of thing.
And you're getting recognition all over the world, really. Tell us about some of the most proudest moments.
Oh man, well, shout out to Sir Banco and Davido. They were kind of the ones that kind of co-signed us and like brought us in as far as going on tour and like just like seeing the new side of things, putting us in the label, because we did a deal with Sony West Africa a few years back.
Wow.
So they were kind of the ones that kind of ingratiated us in that, and yeah, that's really been the journey.
And it's not just about music for your EMB anymore. You're doing a lot of other things for musicians, like what?
Oh, like I mean, just like putting them in positions, even if it's label camps, development deals, that kind of thing, just to kind of get them in the mode, in the zone, kind of thing, whatever. So they're ready for the game when it's time.
We're almost out of time. Even a partnership with the Sea Bears.
Oh, yes. I mean, well, we just did something with the Sea Bears. Actually, their inaugural year, we performed.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so your big party, your big celebration, what do you want people to know at the Park Theater?
I want everybody to come out. We got a jam-packed show for you guys, some special guests. I got YK the Mayor, YSM Fab, Max Wins, DJ Shamar, D-Mix. Yeah, so it's going to be crazy. Got some surprises. So it's going to be on Sunday, September 28th. So please come out, Winnipeg. It's going to be a great show. So
R.O.Z, thank you so much. If you want more information, we do have a link on our website. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
What a lovely start to the day and an end to the work week. 8 degrees. TGIF and Mother Nature is helping us celebrate. Lots of sunshine, winds out of the south-southeast. The barometric pressure is on the rise. The humidity at 80%. Yes, we are going to be basking in the sunshine here in southern Manitoba. As you can see on our radar, not a lot to report there. However, to the north, a good amount of cloud coverage for you, and we are tracking this low pressure system here, likely to bring a good amount of rainfall to areas of northern Manitoba. So it'll likely arrive in Thompson later on this afternoon under cloudy conditions, 17 degrees. And the rest of you likely to stay dry until tonight. Temperatures there in the mid to high teens, 18 in Island Lake, 16 in Gillam, 13 a overcast day in Churchill. Over to the northwest, likely the rainfall arrives late this afternoon. Temperatures in the mid-teens. You could have a good amount of sunshine to start the day. If you don't love the rainfall, at least there's that. 16 degrees in the Paw, 14 in Flin Flon, 12 in Lynn Lake. To the south, hot temperatures, gusty southerly winds, and a mix of sun and cloud. Much the same for us here. We're looking at a high here in Winnipeg of 21. 15 is what's typical. Northwestern Ontario, much the same with clearer skies than what we're seeing here. Slight chance of some rainfall overnight tonight. Temperatures dipping down to 8 degrees. And Bomber fans, a beautiful day for you on Saturday to hopefully see a win, 22 degrees. And we ended off on a very hot note on Sunday with a high of 26. We're taking a break here on Your Morning Winnipeg, but stay with us. We have your videos of the day still to come.
Rooftop arrangements provided by Lacoste Garden Center. Salon services provided by Essentique Spa Salon.
Before we send you off into the weekend, we're going to show you some fun video. These university students are proving that time isn't on their side.
If you can tell me what time it is on this analog clock within 3 seconds, I will give you 5 bonus points. Are you ready? Go.
11:40, 10:50.
And get out of here. Go.
What? This Duke University professor tested his students' skills. Unfortunately, not many could. Just like handwriting, it's gone the way of the dodo bird.
Duke is it's a good school, is what I'm trying to say. So
what? They don't know how to read a clock?
I mean,
how is this possible?
Right. Nice job.
I'd shudder to see my handwriting right now. I'll say that. So
wow. Yeah. Well, morning commutes are boring. Imagine the surprise of drivers when they saw this. Yeah, they're not horsing around. These are 2 members of the hobby horse community galloping through the streets of Chicago.
I wonder how they agree on a gait ahead of time. We're gonna go slow, quick.
Oh my goodness! They put some barriers there. And lastly, stranger danger is a real thing, even in the animal kingdom.
Bambi does not like the cows.
Bambi, the golden retriever puppy, is not a fan of the big cows in the field. It's her first time seeing cattle. Look how she's clinging onto her mom's leg. It's like, help me. Please protect me.
What are these strange things?
I love that so much. Well, that does it for us. Have a wonderful weekend. Go Blue and go Ladies Rugby team. Have a good weekend.